It's hard to argue with it. Definitely mentality of Kobe. Best shooter in the world, Steph. Um, Either way, this guy's gonna be a monster. So you can mix and match.
All right, John, what you think?
One of the reasons I agree with the defense is because of LeBron's body type. Meta World Peace almost fits perfectly with that. So it's almost like perfect for me. Um, I was I wasn't surprised with the mentality of Kobe Bryant because a lot of people from that era, what Jordan would have regularly been slotted at, a lot of players from that era really want to put Kobe. So I'm not surprised by that at all. But I mean, that's what you want. I mean, you got LeBron body type. I mean, LeBron passing. I mean, I'm with Travis. You might as well just put LeBron down. I mean, you should have said 2018 LeBron. That's it. It just let it go. I mean, I agree with him.
All right. Yeah, well, was good to everybody in the chat, Adrian as well. What about you, Johnny? What you think about this perfect list from Tracy McGrady?
I mean, listen, when I first saw it, I was like, wait a minute, LeBron James, okay, Kobe, Steph, Kyrie, LeBron, Vince Carter, Meta World Peace, LeBron. So he named LeBron 3 times, not just twice. He didn't name no one else twice. He named LeBron 3 different times. So instantly off his mind, he's naming LeBron with Kobe's mentality and that can shoot like Stephen Curry and got handles like Kyrie basically because LeBron's a better defender and a better athlete than Vince Carter and Meta World Peace. So at the end of the day, he just described LeBron James that can shoot like Stephen Curry and who has the mentality of Kobe, which is basically don't care about nothing but being the greatest player ever. You know what I'm saying? And then Kyrie's handles. He basically described the greatest player ever and missing some of LeBron's, I guess there's really no flaw because LeBron has the mentality to be the great player. He has you know what I'm saying? He has the handles. Ain't nobody robbing LeBron. And he can shoot. I mean, he's not as great as Stephen Curry or any one of those other guys, but
Johnny
he just,
this year.
huh?
Johnny this year, he's shooting better than Steph Curry from three. So
Listen, the man can do everything on the basketball court, man. That's why Tracy McGrady said to him 3 times out of 9 different categories. And they didn't even give him a category. They just said, "Tell us what's your greatest player." Like build us, and he gave us the 9 categories in each player. He was like, "You give me a guy like that, I'm averaging 45." And I think that player could average 45 in today's NBA.
So, Johnny, so just look at that list. If you could put Jordan into some of them, where would you put him at?
Popularity.
All right, Travis, since a giant don't want to ask you a question, where would you slide him at? Popularity wasn't even on the list. It wasn't on the list.
Saying, what we gonna put Jordan in at? For what?
That's why I asked you, like, where?
Shooting. Wait, why? I got Stephen Curry. Okay, what else?
Okay.
That's why I said popularity. What else?
Okay, with Tracy McGrady's list, Travis, where would you slot Jordan in?
Well, obviously, I mean, I think Jordan was better than LeBron defensively. We can cut corners on that, but I just think overall he is, and I think the numbers will bear that out. But I mean, if we're just cutting, if it's LeBron's body type that we know he's going to be there. I mean, athleticism. You could say any one of a number of guys. I mean, I think Jordan was probably in his peak one of the more athletic guys ever, especially his first 4 or 5 years. But I mean, you could say Tracy McGrady was also. I mean, ironically,
none of them were more athletic than Vince Carter.
Yeah, in different ways. Like jump high is different than just body control overall.
Vince Carter had that as well.
Think so?
Of course.
Yes. Body control.
Have you seen Vince Carter play before?
You got body control.
I think Vince is the guy.
But if we're just doing Jordan, then you could just say, I don't think he's better than obviously. Aside from defense, I don't know who I'd slot in Jordan other than.
Yeah, Jordan's not better than Meta World Peace defensively.
He definitely is.
All right, John. On that list, where would you replace Jordan? Like put Jordan in and replace someone who's on that list?
I was being honest when I said shoes. I was really being honest.
See,
so nowhere.
Trolling. Nowhere.
That's all nowhere.
For what?
I mean, where do you fit? I mean, it's nowhere to fit Jordan. I mean, I think Vince is a better athlete, but I think you could have used LeBron as an athlete. Um, mentality, I go Kobe over Jordan. Um,
Yep. Shooting, Curry.
yes, I
Handles,
mean, well,
Kyrie.
I mean,
I guess the only thing you could put Jordan in is in the mentality and the defense. Those are the only two slots that Jordan could occupy. But it's a toss up between Jordan and Kobe. Most people probably pick Jordan because most people are Jordan fans. And defense, I think majority of people will pick Jordan because they believe Jordan's the greatest defender of all time. That's not saying it's true, but that's what majority of people believe.
It's Akeem. Come on.
But most people think it's
By
Jordan.
far is the key. Yeah, most people
Yeah,
put Jordan up there, but like Tracy McGrady put the best defender of his era. So in
yeah.
his mind, Ron Artest is the greatest defender he ever seen. Not
I don't
Mike.
think he was even better than Garnett, honestly.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I don't think he's using it as a big man because he didn't use no big men
Yeah, well, he's
Just kind of
talking
like a
about the
threat
perfect
forward.
player. So the perfect player is not going to be a center.
or a power forward. It's gonna be
Yeah,
like he
it's
said. It's
going to
gonna
be
be yeah.
a wing
Like
player.
a stretch forward.
I just think
It's going to be a wing player.
I just don't think it's going to be a center because LeBron is 6'9", 260. That's I mean, if you ask somebody in any era what's 6'9", 260, that's a power forward. So I think it's just
Basically, in that body type, you need a versatile defender, and Jordan was not as versatile defender as some players. I'm not saying that
Exactly.
doesn't mean they're better. Like Paul George is a more versatile defender than Jordan. That doesn't mean he's better than Jordan. He's
Yeah.
just more versatile. He's bigger.
Like I always said that if Scottie Pippen had like a better offensive moveset, he probably would be the prototypical player we'd always point to.
yeah.
I mean, that would
Right.
have been the player to put
He
there, Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
he was that. That's what Scottie Pippen was. Scottie
Yeah.
Pippen did invent the idea of being a point forward for a reason because he was multifaceted. He had a lot of skills offensively. He wasn't just a scorer. He could score. He could pass. He can rebound. He can get your offense going. He can do so much. He can do so
Yeah.
much. Yeah, and he can guard 1 through 4.
Yeah. All right. So, just looking at that, the title is LeBron James is the greatest offensive player of all time, which kind of what Trace McGrady was trying to describe in our minds. So, Travis believes Jordan's the greatest offensive player of all time. That's not a question. So, we want to know from Travis, why is Michael Jordan the greatest offensive player of all time?
I don't even necessarily think he's the best offensive. I just think he's like one of the more consistent offensive players of all time. I think, to me, um, I mean, I could say that he is because he was out of the gate shooting 50+% until he started falling off, which was like 11 years later. I mean, other than the most dominant centers of all time, who came out of the gate and was that consistent, just efficiency wise, like their first 8 9 years. LeBron didn't shoot over 50% until like what year 7 or 8. I mean, nothing against him, but that's when he found his overall bag. I think is going on from there. But you can say the best offensive players are those guys who are like most well-rounded, unstoppable. Truly, like you can say Shaq, Hakeem,
Well, who do you think is the greatest offensive player of all
I'm
time?
going
We
to say
just have
Jordan. I'm going to just
Jordan.
say
You just
Jordan just
say
because I
Jordan.
feel like he moved the needle in that regard. He had the best bag I've ever seen as far as, um, you know,
Fadeaways.
in
Tommy
every
will be mad at you for not saying Wilt.
Going right,
yeah.
going right.
Going. I mean,
All right, all right. Oh, hold on, Travis. What makes Jordan have the best bag? Because I never understood this thing that they talking about. Jordan had this bag. Bag of what?
Okay, so
Toolbox.
if you watch Jordan a lot, next, I mean, okay, him and Kobe, in my opinion, as far as just getting their spots, they were incredible off ball. They had lightning fast first steps. Trace McGrady, to an extent, he was just slightly less efficient too, but they perfected the fadeaway to a large degree. Their mid range game was well above average usually. Obviously, we can't measure that for Jordan's entire career when he was or especially good at it, early '90s. But they could score from anywhere on the point. They weren't the best three-point shooters, obviously, but they were serviceable when they were taking them. Their back-to-basket game was second to none, especially among guards and forwards. So when you watch all these things, they could score in those variety of ways. It just made them especially difficult to defend, and the percentages really bear that out. Obviously, were they gonna give you 45 and 10 on 80% shooting every night? No, but when you're talking about just ways you can score on different varieties from everywhere on the court, there's only a few guys that we could point to that can do it with as much consistency, I think, as they can. Just my opinion.
Okay. Okay. All right. John, who you think is the greatest offensive player of all time?
If I'm gonna go outside of LeBron, I'm gonna say Wilt Chamberlain. I mean, what is the argument for not Wilt Chamberlain? I mean,
What is
I,
the argument for Will Chamberlain? What did he do to make himself the greatest offensive player of all time?
he knew what he did great, and he attacked that all every game. I mean, it was no stopping him. I mean, he had the little fadeaway. He can get to the basket easily. He knew he was bigger than everybody. He used his size. Sometimes I get mad when people actually don't use their size against defenders. Wilt used his size, and he dominated. And he was consistent at it. One of the things to me, when you attack the greatest scorers, you have to be consistent. You can't give me 1 year 35 and then you consistently a 24-point scorer for the rest of your career. Wilt was consistent, and he decided. He made a decision because I'm mad at the media that I'm gonna pass the ball. I'm mad at the media, so guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pass the ball. I mean, I won him a championship,
You
but
start winning more
yeah, I
when you
mean,
start passing the ball.
he was very consistent. He attacked. He knew what he did great. He was a great athlete, and he attacked it. Um, I wish I could have watched more of his games, so I could really break down his game the way I would want to break down his game, and see. I want to see his bad games, and like, okay, what did you do that day, and what could you have done better? Sometimes we got to see some of his good games, and it's like um, you read about it, but I would want to know more about his bad games, see it visually, and see how you would attack Wilt and how can he attack and what's best to describe him off. And I read a lot about it, and I mean, you can look at the stats and say, "Oh, this is what he did," but because he this tall, no, I want to see it visually, and I really want to break down his game, and I can really barely describe that better at that time. It's such little film on him that you really can't describe it. But this film you got, he just did what he did great.
Okay. All right. Johnny,
Hmm.
who is the greatest offensive player of all time and why?
Um, it's really tough. Depends on what you value. If you value scoring, it is Wilt Chamberlain. If you value all around game, it would have to be LeBron James. For me, I value the all around game more and the high IQ that LeBron James has over Wilt Chamberlain. As dominant as Wilt Chamberlain was, he didn't have a high IQ in basketball. He just did what he did. He was just a freak of nature. He was just the greatest athlete we're probably gonna be able to talk about for the most of our life. So I give Wilt Chamberlain his props for dominating as far as just knowing how to score the game and then even like I said, just being skilled enough to even pass the ball. But I think Wilt Chamberlain didn't know the idea of playing team basketball. And I think that's what an offensive player is great at. And LeBron being as a good perimeter player and a point guard on top of that, he's just, yeah. I mean, we've never seen a guy who can pass like LeBron, score like LeBron. That's just the difference, and that's what makes him the greatest player ever.
All right. Travis.
Offensive player ever.
Yeah, offense. So Travis, I'm going to throw out some offensive attributes. I want you to say if it's LeBron or Jordan.
Sir.
Driving,
Uh, Probably LeBron.
paint scoring.
Jordan.
Okay.
I mean, how close though? That's tough.
In the paint. The paint's the paint. So
I'd say
paint.
it's Mike, just in that area because I think he had a better back to basket game. Fadeaway, I think he was quicker in this prime. But if we're just talking at the rim, then it's LeBron. The numbers clearly state that.
The paint, you're not really posting up in a too far in the paint with big men. So
Fine, let's go LeBron then.
yeah, it's just the paint.
No, don't
The paint.
switch up. Don't switch up. Y'all use the same thing. Jordan was posting up everywhere. He was posting up at the 3-point line. He was posting up in the.
He was
Yeah, all right. Mid range.
Jordan.
Okay, long range.
I mean, you got to say LeBron. He was just the numbers say he was a better 3-point shooter, except when Jordan took 3 or more per game. So.
Okay, yeah, it's just the errors. Efficiency.
It's still LeBron efficiency wise, just by the numbers, but I don't necessarily agree with that.
Okay. Well, I guess we can only go by the numbers at
That's
the
true.
moment. Yeah. That's all we can do is go by the numbers. Passing.
LeBron. I mean,
You want to
I
fight
can't
it?
really make an argument for Jordan
I
on
know.
that,
I know.
outside of just not being objective.
Yeah, I know. I know. LeBron do pride himself on more of being a passer.
He
So
does.
yes.
He does. He's a top
Um,
five passer of all time.
IQ.
Um, that's tough because I think you can say Jordan, but I just think they had higher IQs in different ways because LeBron like looks to get his team involved in a more readily than Jordan did. Jordan was looking to play better defense. He was looking to, how could he excel at the offensive end. He wasn't necessarily looking to be like the best pass. Although he could do it, he did a number of times. But I would still say LeBron. But if we're just talking about overall IQ as far as getting your team involved and doing the X's and O's, but as far as I'd say offensively and defensively, just scoring and
Well, this
how
is
he's
just
going to
up
be.
on the offensive end. It's just on the offensive end.
Sure, I
So,
mean I'll say LeBron too because I think
okay.
his passing really indicates he had one of the best IQs in league history. We talked about that.
Okay. You are not doing a great job for Jordan Travis. But last thing, ball handling.
I honestly think Jordan was a better ball handler. Honestly, I mean if you look at it, I mean that's really IQ test, but or not IQ test, but just eye test in general.
Mhm.
I think Jordan wasn't fantastic, but he could dribble at both ends. He was good at getting to his, especially on the break. And one on one, he was above average at it too, especially at his later years from or the last three-peat. He really, I think, developed that. He wasn't gonna, do Iverson's type levels up there, but I think overall he had slightly better handles, and that bears that out.
Okay. All right. I don't think Jordan had any type of handles, but John. Okay. Let me start from the top. Driving,
LeBron.
paint scoring,
LeBron.
mid range,
Jordan.
long range,
LeBron.
efficiency,
LeBron.
passing,
LeBron.
IQ,
LeBron.
ball handling.
LeBron. How
Okay.
can you
All
say
right.
Jordan? How can you say Jordan? And for at least 5 seasons, he didn't have a left hand. I mean,
You
Come
know,
on,
it's
John.
yeah.
That's
I mean,
All
not
right.
the
even Kenny,
case.
no. Even Kenny Smith said at North Carolina, Jordan'
Yeah,
weakness was ball handling. He couldn't handle the ball. I mean, players were saying that early in Jordan's career. He couldn't handle the ball. That was his weakness.
I believe LeBron James in the 10th grade was a better ball handler than Jordan ever was in his career.
Yeah, I
yeah.
And
mean,
so it's kind of hard for me
Sure.
to say Michael Jordan was a better ball handler than a point guard.
LeBron.
when I think of ball handling, I played point guard growing up. I ain't thinking crossover. I'm thinking that you can control the ball, you can handle it. I mean, your weakness. I mean, defenders ain't coming up and just straight ripping you up like that. I'm not thinking crossing over and all that stuff because I mean that's just a part of the game. That's to create space. But um, I'm just thinking about handling the ball, and I
Well,
don't
sure. I
think
mean, if we're
Jordan
just
was a
talking about
bad ball
passing
handler.
it to the open guy, of course. But I mean, if we're just talking about getting to your spot better with the ball, getting around defenders as an offensive player, then I don't see how you can make an argument for Jordan or for LeBron, because Jordan, especially if you watch a lot of his games, especially like later on, like Jordan was more than efficient at doing all those things. He has fewer turnovers than LeBron, especially on the just one on one too, just not even throwing it to your guys. But I mean Jordan was just a better ball handler, like in general. I mean, it's
No, see, I think you know what Jordan has done. Jordan has really um, taken NBA fans out of the idea of what basketball is about, bro. A point guard's job is to get the ball to a certain spot. Not for him. You're right. Jordan could get to his spot to shoot his shot, but Jordan is not dictating the defense with his dribbling skills. He's seeing where can I go with the ball, and then I'm gonna go there. Can he do that greatly? Yes, he's elite at that. But being a point guard is different. There's a role in being a point guard. A point guard has to get the ball to a certain spot on the floor for a certain set to be run, for a certain action to be done. So you can't be dictated by the defense on where you're going to dribble the ball. So as a point guard, you have to be able to have good handling, ball handling skills to even be a point guard, because you have to get to certain spots on the floor to run plays. So the idea of the ball handler is the flashiness that people love to talk about. That doesn't make you a great ball handler. A great ball handler like a Maurice Cheeks never needed to dribble between his legs. Maurice Cheeks got the ball to the right spot so that everybody could be in their position. The defense couldn't stop him. Stockton, you could not steal the ball from John Stockton. You could not press him. He was not crossing you over. He was not doing nothing like that. He was going to dribble up the court and get to his spot. And nothing you can do, that's ball handling, because he has possession. He's handling the ball. He's controlling the pace of the game. So it's two different levels of ball handling. And Jordan fans think Iverson, Kyrie, Jordan, that's the ball handling. Tim Hardaway. Nah, man, y'all
I
really...
wouldn't put Jordan with those guys.
No, but I'm just saying, when you think about Jordan dribbling and you're trying to compare it to LeBron, that's how you're seeing it. Because
I said that if it's just about, obviously all that stuff that you mentioned, like that's LeBron's one of his strengths is like passing, high IQ, things like that.
I'm saying, but like weaving in through traffic. You know what I'm saying? Splitting the double teams.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
there's a lot of levels to it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And LeBron could do all of those things. And
Sure.
you know what I'm saying? So he doesn't get ripped. Nobody's ripping him. Nobody's like, yo, give me that.
I mean,
we see Jordan get ripped. You want to talk about, you wouldn't do no when we were saying Jordan left hand.
Hey, nobody's perfect. I mean,
yeah.
One of the first things Phil Jackson did when he became coach was take the ball out of Jordan's hand and put it in Scotty. That was one of the first things
I think people forget though that Jordan. It's not like Jordan averaged like 31, 6, and 0 for his career.
No,
okay,
no, he averaged 5 assists guy, right?
No,
yeah, he was over 5. He was almost 6 assists a game, and like it's like okay.
Jordan made point guards and centers useless, basically, with the way he played basketball. The Bulls had point guards that couldn't be point guards. They had to be shooters. They talk about LeBron James.
That is exactly what they say about LeBron. Like he makes his point guards useless, but most people don't like LeBron is the point on the offense. Michael Jordan wasn't a point on his offense.
Yeah, Jordan made a lot of point guards look horrible. B.J. Armstrong and all of them couldn't play their natural position as point guards because of the way Michael Jordan was as a player. That's why they needed Scotty. That's why Scotty was the dynamic, because you didn't need a point guard with Scotty.
Yeah, B.J. became a corner shooter. That's what B.J. became. And
Paxson, John Paxson, Sam Vincent, all of these guys, bro. All of these guys.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so as we look at what these two have done all time, we see that LeBron numbers is trumping Jordan's in totals. So just as look at you guys, Travis, even though this is just totals and not averages, how would you put this in a per game sense of why Michael Jordan was a better offensive player than LeBron?
Well, like I said, I mean, as you guys and we all know as actual basketball fans, there's a lot to offense. Points generated, obviously, there's a lot. To me, I just look at different things. Like if we're just talking about offensively, if we're just talking points and assists there, then I could argue that Magic Johnson was the greatest offensive player of all time, just because he would shoot over 50% every single year. He would give you between 18 and 23 points a game in his MVP years, and like 14, 15 assists. I mean, he's going to be, especially like when Kareem started falling off, and Pat Riley was like, okay, cool, I need you to drop 30 a game for me, but also run the offense and give me 20 assists, and outscore James Worthy, who is probably a top 10 scoring small forward of all time, and you do that too. So we could say that, but I mean, I'm just talking about if you're going to score the basketball, do it efficiently, and you're not a center, and you're still shooting over 51% for during your prime, and that prime lasts 11 years, nobody else is really going to touch that under those circumstances. And so I think that, again, we talked about his bag. Did he have the most flashy bag of all time? No, but he was so cerebrally sound as far as his back-to-basket game. His first step was great. Getting to his spot as a scorer, his mid-range game, just being accurate with the fade and the jumper overall. That was, I mean, I don't think we've seen that combination as far as, I mean, you could say Durant. Durant, I think, was maybe, if we're just being like the top three-level scorer, it was probably maybe Kevin Durant. But I look at Jordan and I see all those things. I see the efficiency. Obviously, the volume is, I don't really count that as being a negative, because if even if you lower it, he's still going to be wildly efficient. And I don't really care about his points per game as an indication of like his he's the best scorer of all time. But I just think that if you're talking about the entire package, it's either him or Durant as efficiency goes and their ability to score the ball from anywhere you want. Obviously, you could say LeBron because he's insanely consistent and now he's wildly efficient, but I would take those guys if I'm just talking about the best scorer.
Okay. All right, John, let me put it back up. Looking at this, even though it's totals, what's the argument for per game that LeBron James is a better offensive player if you're just looking at points and assists and basically what he generates on the offensive end?
If you look at the numbers, you can't make an argument for Jordan at all. I think the only argument is the eye test. And even when you say eye test, it's the mindset of scoring. Jordan was going to score. His job was to score. His job was to put up as many shots as he can to score. That's the only argument. I mean, LeBron is going to have more than 10,000 more points than Jordan when he finished. We talk about the regular season total. I think LeBron's playoff total is going to be harder than his regular season total to pass. I mean, Jordan was number one. I mean, LeBron has got him what 3,000 points now. I mean, that's going to be the harder one, but I don't think it's an argument when you look at the numbers. Jordan doesn't have an argument. If you took away the names and nobody knew, and they looked at just the numbers, even if you show averages and totals, how do you have an argument for Jordan at all? At all. I mean, it's like it wouldn't even be close if you took away the names and you didn't know who the player was. But if you look at the court, look at the games, Jordan's looked better, and Jordan was more aggressive to by himself. I'm putting up these many points.
Okay. All right. So, Johnny, just thinking about what both of those guys did on the offensive end, we know totals is LeBron James. LeBron James totals, he's top four in points and assists in regular season, top two in points and assists in the postseason. Just looking at what they did on a per game basis, how would you relate those two offensively? Or who would you
Um,
give the nod to offensively on a per game basis?
Yeah, no. Before I answer that, shout out to Ishmael for that super chat. He put down, hell no, Jordan had one hezzy which he used to travel on. If you let Jordan fans tell you, LeBron handles this more. I mean, obviously, I'm going to give LeBron the nod because, like I said, it's about a team concept, a team game, understanding how you can affect your team the best way to be the most efficient, you know what I'm saying, player on your team. And LeBron's just more efficient offensively as far as to assist to turnover ratio. So his passing efficiency is better than Jordan. We all know he shoots better than Jordan as far as efficiency wise. He also scores more efficiently than Jordan does. So he does all of these things on the basketball court. To answer your original question, the only thing that can make Jordan better offensively is offensive rebounds.
That's big though. That's big though. That's big. Apparently, there's something new that they started talking about a year ago. Offensive
Yeah,
rebounds. I
Yeah,
never knew there was such a big thing until now.
yeah,
and they search for that. They search
yeah.
for something.
They
You know,
needed it.
they actually discredit defensive rebounds and elevate offensive rebounds.
They discredit assists and praise offensive rebounds. That's the craziest shit.
All right, so let's look at the points generated. So Jordan was great. He generated 40.6 points per
Yeah.
game. LeBron 43.9 points a game. In the playoff, Michael Jordan was a beast. They're almost the same. LeBron edges him out by a tiny bit. But the thing with Jordan playing so long ago, points created was not there yet, even though they didn't shoot too many threes. LeBron James, I think since 2014, they start adding those things in there. So majority of half of LeBron's career, they didn't include 3 pointers. So LeBron James would definitely be higher in that sense. Probably pull more away than Michael Jordan points per game generated. But as we see, LeBron James on the basketball court generates more points than Michael Jordan. He generates more points than Magic Johnson. He
Mm-hmm.
generates more points than Larry Bird. He generates more points than everybody on a per game basis.
The GOAT.
Yeah, that's how great LeBron James was. If we talk about offensive player, we already gave the attributes. Even Travis, who believed Michael Jordan is a GOAT, gave the offensive attributes to LeBron James.
I feel
So
bad
when
for
we're just looking
Travis,
at
man.
offense,
Yeah, I feel bad for
yeah,
Travis,
when
man.
we're looking at offense, it's kind of hard to say that Michael Jordan was a better offensive player than LeBron. When LeBron, he does have more turnovers, but his assist to turnover ratio is higher than Michael Jordan's.
Better.
Um, he's tad bit more efficient. He's a better 3 point shooter, long range shooter. Gets to the hole still, year 21. What he's doing right now, still nobody in NBA history has averaged 25 points per game, 8 assists, while shooting 50% from the field and 40% from the 3 point line. So LeBron James is doing what he's doing in year 21 greater than anybody in NBA history today. And that's how great of offensive player he is.
The
Is
GOAT.
That's is one of the things why we call LeBron James the greatest player of all time because of what he's doing year in and year out. Just like last show, we showed what LeBron James does year in and year out in his career. Is one or two players every year has done what LeBron James has done, and LeBron just continued to be great. And year 21 still set the bar higher than anyone else in NBA history. All right, so you guys want to? We can open it up to everybody in the chat. Let me put the link up.
Yeah. And man, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You know what we do here in the GOAT James Kingdom channel. We bring it like none other, man. We keep explaining to y'all, LeBron is just a great basketball player. You guys don't want to accept it. You want to cry in the comments. I see them crying now. They're over here crying about me, saying, oh, one scoring title in 20 years. Again, Michael Jordan had 4 NBA seasons where he had a true shooting of over 60% for that season. LeBron's done that 9 times. That's over twice the amount of seasons Jordan was able to shoot 60%. If you understand basketball, 60% true shooting is super efficient scoring wise. So he's just better than Jordan. He's just better. That's it.
One of the things I don't believe Michael Jordan fans, not all of them, but most of them don't really care about stats. They don't care about accolades. They only care about their eye test and 10 scoring titles and 3 steals titles, because majority of them will say that Michael Jordan was a GOAT after his 3rd title. And after his 3rd title, Kareem had more MVPs, 38,000 points, 17,000 rebounds. He had more assists, well more blocks, shot higher percentage. Like I said, 6 titles, those MVPs. He had 1 less Finals MVP. He had 2 compared to Jordan 3. But they still say that no one would say that Kareem was the GOAT in 1993. Like, no one say, because they don't really care about other players. They don't care about what other players did. They don't care anything about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They don't really know his career. They really believe that no one has stated that Kareem was the greatest player of all time. They just believe whatever the Jordan fans say, and what they say is gold.
Yeah,
the argument against Kareem is the media. That's the argument against Kareem, because if you listen to a Jordan fan and his argument for Jordan, they just repeated what the media said. That's the argument for Jordan. I mean,
you look at Stephen A. Smith. He said he would never say LeBron's better than Jordan. Like, he doesn't care. He doesn't care about anything but Michael Jordan.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is because the GOAT conversation is media driven, and being that Kareem comes from an era where there wasn't mass media and there wasn't a large media, basically fan base in the NBA, he never got the praise when he retired at 89. This is the official GOAT. Let's leave it at that. These are the standards. You got to do what Kareem did to be the GOAT. They never did that. The media came in as, like I always told y'all, the mass media during the late 80s and the early 90s that grew with cable television allowed Michael Jordan to be the GOAT, because they were the ones promoting the GOAT standard. And they were saying, this is it. It's Jordan. We saw Kareem, they never saw Kareem. They just said, this is it. We're seeing it right now. He is it. Just like we're doing it right now. Here it is right now in our eyes. We're watching it. The same eye test you're using for Jordan, we're using for LeBron, and he's the GOAT, not Jordan.
Man,
So we don't need the stats. Off the eye test, LeBron's the GOAT.
Like it's great to say Michael Jordan. They've never seen a player as great as Michael Jordan, but to
I have.
you have to have a standard to be the greatest of all time. You just can't say someone's the greatest because the way you like how they play. Like it's kind of hard to say, okay, Michael Jordan's the greatest because of this when others have done it better.
Well,
That's my stand. Like Michael Jordan is the greatest because of what? 10 scoring titles,
well,
three
most
No,
steal titles.
most
no, because he didn't have 10 scoring titles in '93.
most people.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, we're going by when they declared him as the GOAT. We have to have something to say why he's the GOAT.
Okay, yeah.
Like it's fine to say Michael Jordan is a GOAT, but tell us why. And we have brought so many people up here to tell us why. And our best answer is from Travis, who just would not let go of these advanced stats.
Well, most people argument for Jordan is the GOAT is to talk about LeBron the whole time. I mean, they don't even
Well,
talk about
Yeah,
Jordan.
yeah. And when we tell them, okay, we understand you think he's better than LeBron, but why is he the greatest player of all time? They're like, what you talking about? This is Gold James Kingdom. Like, why do I
but
have to
but
say he's better than everybody?
but
But
Brandon
see,
said it
that's why I
best.
got so fed up. That's why I got
Uh-huh.
so fed up with Ryan last week because I had to make sure he understood what the GOAT debate was. Every time you have this conversation with someone who's a diehard Jordan fan, it immediately revolves around two players, and they don't have the understanding that you're talking about the history of the game. I can look at the history of the game and say LeBron as a point guard, he can be considered the best point guard ever. We're going by his position, small forward. I can find a better small forward than him. Like I heard y'all, I've been listening. Who really controls the pace of the game and gets his players and gets his teammates involved
That's
better than
offense and
LeBron?
defensively.
And
That's
it's
offense
going
and
and it's
defense.
going to right and it's still going to produce what he produces at a high level. That's why he's the greatest. And they don't want to hear that. There's not too many players that are this versatile and this elite in almost every aspect of the game. And that's what they don't want to get. I'm comparing him to every player.
And also the
Not
thing is, if we came out and say LeBron James, he trumps Michael Jordan in assists. That's why he's the greatest. The first thing they're gonna say is, it's not like he's John Stockton. He has the most assists. He's not Magic Johnson.
Is that
Like he don't
exactly?
average 11 assists
Exactly.
a game like Magic Johnson. How can you say just because he has more assists that he's better than Jordan? Like that would be their answer. But when but when we try to say like 6 titles is not the most, well, why you got to bring in somebody else to help out LeBron? Like we're
right.
not helping out LeBron. Yes, everyone would say that Michael Jordan won more than LeBron. That's not a secret. But that doesn't mean Michael Jordan is the greatest winner of all time, unless you're saying LeBron James is the second greatest winner of all time. Okay, we can have that conversation of since Jordan came to lead, who is the greatest winners. But if we're talking about all time, we have to use everybody. We cannot just cut years from people, cut years from
He's
LeBron,
still
Robert
cut
Ory,
years from the NBA
he's
history
still
just to
he,
make a case for Jordan.
yeah,
Robert
he's still
Ory.
not the greatest second winner either because I would still give that to Kareem.
I mean, there's more people who won 6 as well. So but if you're talking about leading your team, like that's another conversation, even though that may not be Michael Jordan, but we could start that conversation like that. That's just how they don't know how to start the conversation of why Michael Jordan is the GOAT.
I know Kareem won without Magic. Jordan never won without Pippen. That's the facts. That's the facts. So let's let Twin Man Sturdy and Ishmael get a chance to speak on today's topic. Again, shout out to everybody in the comments. Y'all go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Also, check out the membership in the GOAT James Kingdom channel. Y'all know we are also going live on Facebook. So shout out to everybody in our Facebook group. We just reached 85,000 members there. So shout out to us and everybody in the Facebook group. But you know we're on TikTok. We're also on Twitter. We're on Instagram, which we're going viral on Instagram all of a sudden now. Everything we post on Instagram is going viral now. And shout out to everybody who follow us on Discord as well. So, Twin Man, you got a chance to speak a little bit, so we'll let you talk about Tracy McGrady. Do you think Jordan fans are going to hate on Tracy McGrady for his list? And what do you think of his list of the greatest player built that he put together?
Well, to answer the first question, you already know the moment they put LeBron in too many categories, or if they speak LeBron in a positive light in any way, he will be despised and hated. If every last one of those answers wasn't Michael Jordan, it would be hate. let's be real here. Everybody right now on this
Mm-hmm.
panel and in the chat rooms, know I'm telling the truth. Any player who has said anything positive about LeBron James, it does not matter the circumstance, they are now delusional. They are now hated. They hate Scottie Pippen, and Scottie Pippen won 6 championships with this man. Like, so you think they're not gonna hate Tracy McGrady?
Yeah, somebody in the comments
What
already said Tracy McGrady's a bum, just like LeBron James. So go ahead. So let's talk about Tracy McGrady and the player he put together. How great is that player Tracy McGrady put together?
that player could be the greatest player of all time. Easy.
Basically LeBron with Stephen Curry's shot and Kyrie Irving's handles. That's basically what he's described. That's basically what he described.
It. That player could
Yeah.
be the greatest player of all time. You just giving him an improved jump shot. That's basically what you've done. You've just given him a better jump shot for his entire career. So instead of 40,000 points, it's probably like 45 right now because he gets more threes.
Let me answer this question before I let you get in, Sturdy. Exposure. Can you react to the comments made by Steven Jackson saying LeBron didn't have the dog in him like Kobe and Michael? I say the same thing I say about all the players that say that about LeBron. They never took the dog out of LeBron when they were facing him. What did Steven Jackson do when he was playing LeBron? I mean, I don't got time for those guys and what the dog got in him. Those guys are into favoritism. They rather hang out with Michael Jordan and the Jumpman crew than hang out with LeBron and Rich Paul and them. That's all it is. They want access to Jordan. So they say right things about Jordan. Just like Stephen A. Smith went on a podcast the other day saying Scottie Pippen didn't show his condolences to Michael Jordan, and that's why Jordan said fuck Scottie Pippen now on from here on out. So you Jordan fans are ridiculous, man. Stop asking me dumb questions about stupid players saying stupid shit. Because we're talking about Tracy McGrady talking about basketball. We're talking about basketball. You can't explain to me what the fuck a dog is in basketball. Don't come to me. You can't score 40,000 points without being a pit bull. You know what? There's an Asian dog that is severely massive and big and just real vicious. That's fucking LeBron. Leave me the fuck alone about these bum ass players who hate on LeBron. Sturdy, let's get to you on this, Sturdy. Appreciate you for coming on. Thank you, gentlemen. What do you think about Tracy McGrady's comments on the greatest player, and then how you feel the Jordan fans will accept it?
Salute everybody. I think actually it's a common preference, like for him being a wing player, he decided to build his player around a wing archetype. So for me, it's not surprising how he built that player. Especially if you are aware of how he talks about those players he's listed, he speaks very highly of them. So naturally, most Jordan fans has this weird entitlement of like anytime you mention Jordan's name, you should give him praise as much as they do, and that's weird. That's not self-respecting. But most importantly, it's just T-Mac's opinion. That hypothetical player, to me, honestly, it reminds me of stories I heard about the potential of Len Bias. So those not familiar with Len Bias, the Celtics, doing the Celtics do, put brands on players before they even drafted, but that's another conversation. But potentially, like Len Bias was described as the next thing, that the like a 6'8", 6'7", 6'8" wing who's just as athletic as Michael Jordan, but with a better jump shot. And matter of fact, if you look up more England bias, every time him and Jordan played against one another, their body dominated. So to me, that type of player, hypothetical player that Tracy McGrady built, just remind me of like the potential of their bias.
I just
Go ahead, John.
I just got one thing for A30. So John Stockton now is a top 5 point guard since you didn't say anything about it. So I'm assuming that is top 5 point guard.
No, King Von, like that's the thing. Like actually, like I've come to a synopsis, right? Like I understand the recognition, and like I understand that it's not John Stockton's fault that he get put in conversations where he simply don't belong. It's not his fault. It's similar. It's something about the '90s King Von. It's something about '90s basketball that people keep holding on, just won't let it go. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of weird for me. But like it's. But I try to let John Stockton breathe. But when you guys bring him up, gotta let people know the truth. That's all. That's all that is. But that's the thing though. Like that's the beauty of like simply. But speaking of offense, right? That's the thing with most Jordan fans. Like like respect to T Perfect, Travis, but like, come on, bro. There's no argument of Jordan being a better offensive player than LeBron. There's no argument of him being a better defender. That's and the thing is of what some of the things we mentioned before. Like I
Hmm.
don't say eye test, I say film. Because film shows just like the numbers, it shows facts. If I say LeBron James facilitate the offense on his team, that's not an opinion, that's a fact. If I say Scottie Pippen is a great communicator on defense, that's not an opinion, that's a fact. So when I say film, I'm saying there's both a perfect blend of the numbers as well as what's shown on film. So in discussing who's a better offensive player, not only LeBron showed more responsibility, but he simply showed more impact offensively by doing some of those things at a higher level than Jordan. When Jordan did have the ball in his hands under Doug Collins the majority of the time, the offense was optimized because he was a scorer. Jordan would tell you this in interviews and the way he approached the game. He preferred to attack the game through scoring first, passing second. LeBron was the opposite. Colin Cowherd has this funny quote. He was like the most interesting fact that he believed LeBron ever had, the fact that he went from averaging 27 points his sophomore year to again 27 points his junior year in high school. Meaning he understood he can score, but he rather continue to suppress his scoring to a certain level to optimize his team. And that's what great offensive players do. Magic Johnson did it.
Hmm.
Steve Nash did it. LeBron does it. Like abundance of players that simply.
John Stockton did it.
And no. I know. I mentioned. Hey Johnny. I'm actually talking about MVPs. I'm talking about actual guys that's like are better. You know what I'm saying? Just stop with that, bro. Leave the '90s alone. But the point is like to send it on home. LeBron is not only the better offensive player, the better defensive player, and like Twin Man said, it just makes people uncomfortable to say that he's one of the few all time greats that he's great in multiple categories. We never heard people. It's so foreign to people to say he's the most clutch player, arguably. He's the most versatile player, arguably. He's in the conversation. Like there's so many things you have to put him in the conversation with. It's unfamiliar to people, and that's why they rely on lies or just skewed hypocritical bias. That's simply it. To be honest with you. And
Yeah,
no, sorry, King John. Like John Stockton is more closer to 10 than he is to 1. But that is what it is.
yeah. Listen, great takes, 30. We appreciate that. Listen, man, I'm reading the comments right now, and we're supposed to be talking about Jordan being a better offensive player than LeBron, and all I keep seeing is shoes. I keep seeing shoes. I think you was right, King John. The only thing that Jordan could be added to the list to make sure that we have this greatest player that's scoring 45 points in today's NBA is that he's wearing Jordans on his feet. That's what.
That's it.
So Ishmael, thank you for joining us and being patient, brother, man. What you got on the topic, man? What do you think of Tracy McGrady's player? Would you think that could you build that player on 2K? Do you think that player is possible to build in 2K? Would that be a 99?
I think his take is kind of an oxymoron because how you gonna have Kobe Bryant's mentality and then LeBron's IQ? That don't really make any sense. Kobe Bryant played a lot of hero ball. Kobe Bryant played a lot of hero ball, shooting over 2 to 3 people, and LeBron, he would never do that. He would rarely ever do something like that. And then you have Kobe Bryant's mentality, LeBron's passing. He's gonna play superhero passer. I don't think that really
You
makes
know
sense.
what? You make a good point because LeBron trusts his teammates well more than Kobe would ever. Kobe trusts his teammates depending on what he sees in practice and your character in general, how you take your game, how serious you take the game of basketball. But LeBron sees players differently. So you got a good point there. Go ahead, continue.
I think I don't know why NBA players always refer to Kobe as the king of mentality and all this. Like that doesn't even make any sense. I think it kind of devalues Kobe as a person and his personality and his capability as a great basketball player when people pose as like, oh, he had this mentality, like, and then like what do you mean? Like no other player really practices and really.
Yeah, you know what? Let me give you something on that, Ishmael. If you give me a chance to give you an understanding, because I'm gonna help Travis out, because Travis is ready to choke you about Kobe Bryant. I think the idea of Kobe Bryant's mentality is misquoted or misunderstood by the actual Kobe Bryant fans and Michael Jordan fans. Kobe's mentality wasn't just being a dog. he actually understood the game of basketball. He
Exactly.
studied the
Right.
game of basketball. He understood his place. I mean, he had things where Tex Winters said that he used to keep Tex Winters up late night, just calling him, asking him, okay, yo, on this spot of the floor when I'm doing this during the triangle, can I shoot here? Can I? You know, he really tried to figure out how he can score in the triangle offense to still be a part of the offense without messing it up. So Kobe, every criticism Kobe ever took, he took it in and tried to make himself better. So the mentality of Kobe wasn't just being a dog. It was just about absorbing the game and learning how to effectively put it on the court night in and night out. Like, that's what Kobe did. His workout ethic was for that. He wanted to be ahead of everybody else. So the mentality wasn't just jacking up a bunch of shots over people making bad plays. It was being prepared at every moment, understanding the game at every moment. I just recently saw Kobe talked about how he had to understand a teammate that asked him. The teammate said, "Yo, I need you to trust me," something to that effect. Like, I need to believe that you trust me as your teammate. And Kobe was like, "Of course I do." But Kobe didn't understand what the teammate meant, because in Kobe's mind, of course I trust you. You're my team. You know, I have to trust you. At some point, I'm gonna need you. But he was saying that it was important to the player because of that player's journey, where that player came from, his background. So he was explaining how, as a team leader, to be a better teammate, he had to start understanding those nuances of his teammates, where they came from, their background, their motivation, what inspired them, how they got to this point, how they view themselves. So Kobe's mentality was bigger than just being a ball hog. So I think that that's something that would help you understand Kobe. Kobe was just a basketball player. He just loved the game of basketball.
And
So
his
Right.
mentality-
Johnny, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
good.
and
Right.
everything he did was basketball for 20 years. Everything was all
Yeah.
basketball.
Right. I just think that when people keep talking about mentality, like, just what you're saying, and it just devalues the fact of Kobe's impact as a basketball player and how good he was, and people just
Yeah.
make it see, oh, he was just hungry and hungry and hungry. It's like, whatever, man, you just saying stuff. But overall,
Yeah, they did a disservice to us. They did. They really did. They really did a disservice to us with Kobe. We should have learned this about Kobe 12 years ago, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. Go ahead. Yeah.
And but in terms of like who's the better offensive player in terms of skill, I was watching the other day. I was watching '98 NBA Finals, and I just look at it. It's like Jordan doesn't even have the most skills as a player, like the greatest of skills. He doesn't have the greatest. He doesn't even have the greatest pull-up jumper. Like Ray Allen's pull-up jumper is better. Like I'm talking about dribble pull-up. Ray Allen's pull-up jumper is better than Jordan's. So is Kobe's.
God.
Like
Oh
LeBron's
my
bag on the
God.
post is definitely better than Jordan's. Like he just has a higher efficiency in the mid-range. Jordan had one hezzy. I hardly ever seen him do a crossover. Hardly ever see him do a spin. Around the back was average. He back to the basket every single time. Like, I've seen LeBron James done endless amount of things, and people still say he doesn't have the bag. Dude, I don't know where people are no, he doesn't have the best handles, man. I have yet to see, like, pull up a highlight reel of Jordan doing some amazing high handle stuff. You can't. You really can't. Try it, Travis. Look for it. I dare you.
The ball fake, man. Having the ball in the
No,
hand,
yeah, like, come on.
That was the ball handling. Matter of fact, yeah, go what Sturdy said. Sturdy said something best. Hold on, Twin Man. Sturdy said it best. We don't use our eye test. We use film. As you can see here, we're talking about watching the games. This man said he went back to 1998, the 1900s, and watched a blurry ass video of Michael Jordan without a left hand. So that shit is hilarious, man. But go ahead, Twin Man.
Israel probably still has a headache from watching that game, trying to stretch and look at.
So Ishmael, you know what video they're gonna show you? They're gonna show you the video when he first came in the league and he was dribbling between his legs real fast, went in for like a
Oh
dunk
yeah,
and shit.
in that
front of
same
Larry Bird.
set. That was the weakest.
And they're
I
gonna
seen
make it- and they're
LeBron
gonna
do that
make it
this
seem
year.
like-
I seen him do that this year. I seen him in the
But
game
hold on,
do that.
But see, in that moment, they'll make it seem like that's handles. And like A. Johnny said, having handles is not just you being able to get to your spot. It's being able to put. You know who has handles in today's NBA? Jokic. He controls the pace of the game. He gets his players open, and he can still get his shot. Jamal Murray has handles.
Yeah,
LeBron James has
you know who has handles and people don't really give him credit for? Bam Adebayo. Players like that, but again, they're not flashy. They're not like Kyrie. They're not dribbling between players and doing all this crafty stuff with the, Again, I still think Kyrie probably is the best ball handler of all time without question, because it's not just like I said, it's not even just about the dribbling too. You know what I'm
He
saying?
can get to his
The,
spots real good.
yeah, the finishing too, where how he can,
Oh
you know what I'm saying,
yeah,
how he can contort and like you said, his body, balance and all that other
yeah.
stuff. So it goes into a lot. A lot of it is good. Again, nobody's saying Jordan can't handle the ball. We just basically saying, listen, man,
Well,
y'all praise him and y'all give him things that he doesn't have. And that's the problem. The same with the Kobe mentality. You guys are the reason why we have to break down Michael Jordan this way, because you guys keep telling us lies. It's lies after lies stacked upon lies. That's
what
what
I
it
meant
is.
is like I obviously like he can handle the ball. Like we know that ball handling and being elite at
Mm-hmm.
doing like special moves is different. Of course we say that, but I'm talking about just like talent and special moves and getting to the right spots. It was like he didn't it would just seem like it would be subpar in today's basketball for what Jordan was able to do. And like him able to get in the spots, a lot of it, most of it was like on the post up. Or he would do like one jab step before he even dribbled the ball and he got to the rim because he was quicker than everybody or more explosive. It wasn't due to like he did some special move like in between the legs around the back, spin move, and get to the layup, all this stuff he had to do, which I've seen LeBron do. And so that's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying. When I see Jordan, it's like one jab move and he would go get to the rim. One jab move and a pull up or something like that. Or then he'll start posting somebody up and he'll do a spin around Jay or that little or like if he's in transition, he'll do a little hezzy and it didn't really look the most fluent at all when he did that. And so it's not to talk bad about his game like that, but it's just people over exaggerate like how great
That's, you know
or
why?
talented he
Because
was.
that's because to be honest with you, you're shocking a lot of people, Ishmael. But that's because you saw ball handlers after Michael Jordan.
Right.
The people who think Michael Jordan has great handles watch Michael Jordan. They saw Michael Jordan before Allen Iverson, before Tim Hardaway, before Penny Hardaway.
I played against
before
guys in
all of
high
those
school with
guys.
better handles than that, to be honest with you. And I'm not even exaggerating that one at all.
Now, I would say this: there is nobody in the 1900 that has better ball handling than today's players. So, in the top 5 best ball handlers of all time should be players of today. It's legitimately so, unless you're holding on to nostalgia like Sturdy stays. So,
I will put Rod Strickland. I will separate.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, like you got guys even back then who had crazy hands.
Yeah,
Rosters, Wilt
Tim
Chamberlain,
Hardaway
like
was better than
him.
85% of players today.
I'm gonna say
Technically.
I would say Penny Hardaway too. Like these guys wasn't just they are well. All of them wasn't like Gary Payton or like John Stockton. You know what I'm saying? When they get pressed,
John Stockton.
when I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, when they get pressed, they'll turn their back. No, there's some guys that'll face you up.
No, again, we got the tractors here. We got the tractors here. Somebody said Michael Jordan has. Let me see. He says this is the most disgusting thing I've ever heard in basketball. Michael Jordan is by far the greatest offensive player. He has 8 50-point games, 38
Yes,
40-point games in the playoffs alone. Who-
That's not the
who
way to
had-
argue it.
Hold on, wait. Who has the most 30 and 10 games in the playoffs, young man? Who has the most 40 and 10 in the playoffs, young man? See, you guys love to just talk about shooting the basketball because that's what Jordan did well. Shoot. He shot a lot of shots. He was able to score because of that. But Jordan was not a better offensive player. They had to
They
actually
can't
give.
resp-
No, matter of
they
fact, LeBron is an offense, right? They've been saying this. LeBron is what, right? Am I right, Sturdy? Am I right, everyone? LeBron
No,
is the system.
LeBron is the system.
LeBron is the system. That makes him a better offensive player than Jordan off of that because they had
Oh,
to give
better
Jordan. They had to give Jordan the system. LeBron is the system. So that means LeBron is your offense.
Wait a minute. Sometimes just let them talk, and they'll talk you into LeBron being the better offensive player. Just let them talk.
I'm just talking about skills here. Like all that stats. Yes, Jordan is one of the greatest of all time. One of the greatest. Like I'm just talking about skill sets. You actually watch the game, the eye test, and all that other stuff. This is what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. And then they respond with, "Oh, he scored most 50 points." It's like, dude, no, we're talking about the skills here.
No,
You
But,
that's
no,
the
but,
thing.
they,
Where
but he relegated it to the playoffs too. He relegated it to the playoffs.
Wow.
But go ahead, Sturdy. Go ahead.
it's more so. The thing is
Uh-huh.
it's the thing is, I just try to tell people, especially in sports, right? Like there's multiple forms of facts, and especially for nuanced conversation like this in terms of offense, it ain't just skills, it's just your impact on the game. And the only way
Yeah.
you can understand that is actually watching the players. That's why most Jordan fans don't actually watch Jordan. Like when I said earlier about that Doug Collins thing, they didn't know
Uh
what
huh.
the hell I was talking about.
No,
Like
they don't.
most Jordan fans can't explain to you where the favorite spots on the floor where Jordan like to operate in the triangle. Why the triangle was such a detriment against teams like the Pistons and the Knicks, and in particular for defending Michael Jordan. Like and things like that, and all even the intellectual guys like Travis, like understanding that guys like Jordan needed that type of sophisticated offense to optimize his chance of winning.
Mm.
That is different. It's different when you compare him to guys like Magic or LeBron, who under different coaches, under different circumstances, under different teammates, still be able to provide you a high level impact offensively because they're able to control the game offensively in ways that Jordan simply wouldn't allow himself to do. Jordan's not a facilitator. He's not. He's not a pass first player. He's not the type of guy that's gonna be like, okay, I'm going to draw the. I'm going to intentionally be a decoy for my team to get an open shot. No, that was more
Facts.
reactionary than
Facts.
anticipated.
Facts. Facts.
But you're
Yeah.
not going to understand this if you're not going to understand this for most Jordan fans not going to understand it because they don't really understand the game when they even watch Michael Jordan.
My God, when I watched that game, it was so slow. The first quarter took probably like 20 minutes to end. It was like nonstop with the fouls.
With
It
the
was
foul
endless.
call.
My God, I watched it. I recently
No,
watched
and
that, and I was like, God,
it was a different NBA. You know what I'm saying? I recently watched a video about dribbling. They were talking about how they started letting players put their hands underneath the ball a little bit more in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? That's why you was able to get certain things. Players were able to cuff the ball. It was just a different NBA. It was great at the time, though, Ishmael. I'm going to tell you this right now. 1998 finals was the most watched finals of all time as far as TV ratings goes. And
yeah,
it was because of Mike. We never saw someone like Michael Jordan. And mind you, a lot of stuff that like Travis was saying, like Jordan's back to the basket game, it really wasn't that. The triangle offense really revolved around ball movement, a lot of movement. So Jordan understood the offense by 98 very well. So he was able to take his shots, but he was very inefficient. I think he shot 47% that year. And in the playoffs, he shot like 45%. Because Jordan was shooting a lot of outside jumpers. He couldn't get to the rim as much. He didn't have that first step like he did early in his career. So yeah, all this stuff about Michael Jordan is all myth. He's great. We know he's great because the stats tell us. Not Travis's eye test, not the shoe shots at you, Travis, but all these guys eye tests who never watched the game. Like Sturdy said, they don't even watch Michael Jordan play. So, but Brandon, we had everybody here basically explain how LeBron's the greatest offensive player, man. I mean,
He- he-
Oh,
he gave it
hold on,
time.
Johnny. Hold on, Johnny. Hold on, Johnny. I did not say that.
Sturdy
I didn't
said
say that.
magic.
I didn't-
Sturdy said magic. Sturdy said magic and stuff like that. But
No,
still
no,
to
no.
a certain-
Honestly,
Uh-huh.
what I said, Johnny, is like, in particular for the offensive player, it's not like there is no person on offense that separate themselves from the pack like a guy like Bill Russell on defense. It's really incumbent upon like what you value, like you said before. That's why I mentioned how Tracy McGrady built this hypothetical play. He built it through an archetype of a wing. That's what some people think they can get their best offense through a guard. Some people think they can get it through a wing. Some people think you get it through a big. Like Joker is the best offensive player today, even though he's a center. Well, how the old guys like to say it, because apparently you can be a combo. So to me, Joker is no longer a center; he's a combo center. That's how old guys taught me. But that's not the point.
He's a
The point
he's
is like,
a combo center. What is a
yeah,
combo?
hey Johnny, did you? I don't hold like let's
What is
think.
that?
Hey Johnny,
What's
we
the
don't.
combination? What's the combination?
He because he facilitates the offense like a
Uh-huh.
guard, right? Just like
Okay.
Swimman mentioned.
Uh-huh.
He also does big man things like rebound, like interior scoring. Hence, he's not a regular center, Johnny.
He's a point
team
center.
did not.
So
Yeah, he's a
point
combo
point
center.
Okay. No, this is the first time I'm hearing this. Basketball fans.
Yeah, no, you know, hey Johnny, you know where I got this from? Because I listen to my elders, right? When I talk to guys about the great guys like Jerry West, when I talk to guys like the great guys like Tiny Archibald, you know what they tell me? They say I put them in the same category as James Harden and Steph Curry. Steph Curry, you mean the guy who's listed as a point guard his entire career? Yes, like they don't view him as a point guard. They view him as a combo guard. So I understand the concept now. So a guy like Joker who controls the offense, who does multiple things outside of the relegated role of a center, he's no longer a center. He's a combo center. He's in his own category, like some of the guards of NBA history. I'm
He's a
learning.
point center. Point
Ismail,
center.
I got to go in
That's
Ismail for a second. So Ismail, I understand what you're saying, and like obviously if you like watch a couple games and like you think you're an expert on Jordan and whatever, you think your eye test is like the best. So what you really got to remember, and is again, you can't just say that, but he had no skills. So that's just a ridiculous take.
I never said
So
that.
you gotta ignore. You gotta look at okay, what was Jordan? What actually set him apart? And like okay, so everything you mentioned back his back to basket game, you think it was average. His handles, how he played with guys in high school were better. You got to remember, Jordan actually was able to get to his spot great way. He had an above average jumper. He had an above average back to basket game. He was efficient in all those things, which we're not going to see out of almost any other player to that level aside from Kevin Durant. Was he the best ever at like getting a pull up jumper or just look at Prius? No. But you got to understand, when he's out there, especially during his first 7 or 8 years, and he's shooting over 50% from the field doing those exact things you're talking about, again, your eye test doesn't matter because he's still going to give you 30 points per game, doing all those same things you're talking about, finishing great at the rim, using advanced body control to shoot 65, 70% at the rim on only 15 attempts per game within 3 feet from the basket. Again, he's going to do those things. You're not going to you'll find better players who are more flashy today, but you're not going to find the same efficiency as far as again a sustained basis like you did with Jordan. That's what sets him apart from most other players from those positions. Is again you can look all day and say eye test, eye test, eye test, and he can pick his least efficient season of all time in '98. Again, at least from the field. But again, you're not going to say okay, going back. I'm actually going to study the game. He was good at these, or he was above average at these consistently. And again, there's a high difficulty of being efficient. Is what we're talking about. No other guard in history is going to have these kind of numbers, this type of production. Again, other than Michael Jordan, when you're talking about sustained, again, just a sustained basis.
Okay. Well, I'm not saying Michael Jordan didn't have any skills. I'm saying that that of course his impact, you don't need to have the flashiest skill sets in order to have great impact. We look at Giannis Antetokounmpo. Obviously, he doesn't have the biggest skill set. He uses his size advantage, his athleticism to be able to get to the rim and be able to score at will. So what I'm saying is that just in comparison to what most people talk about, they over exaggerate Jordan's game and try to devalue LeBron's game and try to make it seem like LeBron's skill level is not above Michael Jordan in some aspects. Just skill of because in today's game, the smaller players have to be more skilled. They can't just use majority of the time, not all the time, but majority of the time, a lot of players have to use that form of flashiness to be able to score at will when you look at many of the players today. And so, yes, Jordan, by the numbers, obviously he was very impactful and he didn't need to do all that back then. He needed to do what he needed to do in order to score, and that worked for him. That's wonderful. I would never criticize a player for the fact that they don't have the flashiness because obviously LeBron is not the most flashiest basketball player, and I'm not into the whole the bag talk or true hooper and all that other foolishness and whatever. And so I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. And I'm just saying that, and just in comparison to LeBron James, when you guys mention handles and stuff, I just think that LeBron has a better ball handler and more skillful. That's it.
You know, one of the things that we always talk about, Travis just talked about it, how efficient Jordan was as a player, and that's what sets him apart from a lot of guards because how efficient Jordan was. I believe Travis is talking about because he shot over 50% most of his career. Is that what you mean by him being more efficient than the other players?
It wasn't most of his career. It was a third of his career.
Well, I mean, no, a third of his career was. I mean, he shot 50. He shot at or near 50%. A little over half of his career, if you look at the stats. There.
No.
The only time
we know his last 7 years he didn't shoot over 50%. When better players start entering the league, when Michael Jordan just couldn't drive to the hole, he had to shoot like he literally was Kobe Bryant.
Jordan shot 50% or better 5 seasons in his career. He shot one other season at 49.9.
So what I talk about,
seasons,
and I actually stated this, is that when he retired as a Bull permanently, okay, he was over 50% from the field. What I'm not talking about that he's like the most efficient guy in history or anything like that. But I'm talking about when you have that combination, it's a holistic argument. When you have a guy who's a volume shooter, right? And again, this is why it's such a ridiculous argument that Kobe was a better scorer. When you're doing the same things, when you're not just a dunk first, or when you're not taking 40% of your shots from 0 to 3 feet, that's when you have to be efficient in order to be a number one guy on a team offensively. That's what Mike was doing. Did he shoot well over 50% for like his entire time? No, but when you're talking about his first 11 years, I think that was probably one of the best scorers just as far as being cerebrally sound again in NBA history. Did it
That's
fall
what.
off a
But
cliff? Sure.
but that's
Travis,
what. Go ahead, Brandon. I'm sorry.
what makes Michael Jordan a more efficient scorer than Kobe Bryant? Is it because of his first half of his career that he shot over 50%? Like
First
what?
half,
Like yeah, like what makes him a more efficient scorer than Kobe Bryant? Because I think they're about the same, efficiency wise.
no, they're not about it. Kobe Bryant is 44% or 44% for his career. Michael Jordan again is at a
That
deceptive 49%. But I mean, arguably, I mean, I wish he wouldn't have played
I'm
for the
sorry.
Wizards,
I'll
but
just say this real quick. I'm sorry. I'll just say this real quick. There's a difference between efficiency and accuracy. Field goal
yeah,
percentage is accuracy. That's not efficiency. I just want to say that. That's
This
basically
man
all.
So
sturdy.
sure,
yeah, so so
sure. And
so
so,
so basically,
Hold on.
when we look at both of these players, they played basically almost the same. And early in Jordan's career, he got to the hole easily, made a lot of dunks and layups first part of his career.
uh,
But when you're going on later in his career, his field goal percentage dips and dips and dips, and most likely because of he's shooting over taller players. He's not the biggest guard in the league anymore. 6'5", 190 was the biggest guard in the league when Jordan came in the league. Like that was a big guard. And when Kobe Bryant is going up against these players who are much bigger than Danny Ainge and Craig Elo, like his field goal percentage is going to dip. Just like Michael Jordan field goal percentage dipped later in his career when he's going up against these players because he has to work harder. Kobe Bryant had to work harder than Michael Jordan to score points than he did in the
I
first
think
part of
that's
his
a.
career.
I just think that's a false narrative because if you look at the average height of point guards and shooting guards, and actually across the board, really
Mhm.
the only position that's actually been gotten noticeably larger especially as far as like average body mass index is point guard. I mean, the shooting guards on
But hold
average
up, Travis.
were like what 6'5", 6'6". I mean, you're not
When?
gonna.
No,
It's better than
When?
no,
Kobe's,
Travis.
and they're
No,
not
When?
bigger than Kobe Bryant either.
no,
When?
no, Travis.
Yo, hey
Really?
Johnny, I'm gonna drop a link for you in the chat to
Yeah,
to give you a year
I
by year of the
uh huh.
average height
So
and weight of
Yeah,
players by
you're not going
position.
to see a huge spike in that. I guarantee
No,
you.
no,
Look
no.
this
What,
up.
what, what,
Travis,
what Brandon? No, what Brandon is saying is that there eventually, by the time you got to the mid '90s and Jordan's late years and in the early 2000s, they ended up being more athletic and guards with more stature. Kobe Bryant is 6'6" coming into the league. There were so many guards coming in that were 6'5" now, 6'6" now, 6'7", that Jordan wasn't the only 6'6" guy. What Brandon is trying to say, and he was actually giving you props for it, was saying that as a guard, Jordan is actually super efficient. He really is. It really is. But like Brandon is saying, we can't compare that to players who didn't play in Jordan's era. Because if Kobe was able to play in Jordan's era, he would shoot over 45% for his career as well. He would
How
get
do you,
way
how do you
much
figure
more
that?
shots
That's just you saying
because
that.
he
You don't
can't
have any proof to.
because the shots
shorter
because Jordan's 50% shooting season that you're talking about was him able to get to the rim with illegal defense. Kobe Bryant didn't have that opportunity.
Oh.
By the
See,
by
this
the
is
time
just conjecture.
no,
All right.
because by the time Kobe Bryant was getting his ability to score, the league and instituted zone defense specifically for Shaq. While
So
he's playing with Shaq, so he was seeing zone defense since 2001.
so
Jordan
Travis, are
never
you
saw
saying
that.
are you
Yeah.
saying if Michael Jordan was playing in like 2005 and to 2000 and like say 20, he would shoot over 50% because are you saying that he would still be as efficient as he was in the 80s?
I
Arguably,
don't know.
because it was arguably harder to get to the rim in the 80s and 90s with no
How is it hard?
with no
I
three
mean,
seconds.
we all watch
No
Michael.
way.
We sat down. We show you these games. Don't do this. We showed you
No
the
way.
games. We showed you
This is
these.
so. At this point, we're getting
Oh,
away.
wait a
We're
minute.
using
Here we go.
excuses.
Here we go. Here we go. Hey, let's get to it now. All right. So the average
They
height.
don't like our eye test.
Yeah, listen, the average height for a shooting guard when Jordan was drafted in 1984 was 6'4". It stayed to about 6'4" till about 1980. Oh wait, there you go. Wait, 6'4". We got to 6'5" now in 1991. By the time Jordan was playing in 1996 and 97, it was 6'5" still. But by the time Kobe was playing in 2007, 2006, it was 6'5", 6'5", 6'5", and it kept going
It always
up.
got taller,
It
incrementally.
always got, and now it's starting to get smaller as the 2000s come along. Players are getting smaller as shooting guards. So the average shooting guard in general for NBA history is like 6'4". Travis,
Hmm.
which Jordan
Yes.
is well larger than.
Okay, so it's Kobe.
Pause. Yeah, but
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 Yeah,
Kobe,
but
again,
but
no.
his
But
lead,
here's
now,
I think
uh-huh.
here's the inaccuracies, right? So what B Lee's is trying to explain, Travis, is that this is a fact that the era that Kobe, especially majority of his prime, was in, the defense wasn't tied down by illegal defense. You could implement zone principles, so that
exactly.
made it that congested the lane and does made it harder for guys, especially perimeter players and bigs during the era of Kobe's prime. Especially for a one-on-one player like Jordan in isolation. We all know with the combination of triangle offense, he took way more advantages of the illegal defense era. Simply put, when Jordan in the '90s, he's being guarded by a player on the wing. Once he beat that player, all he has to do is deal with the big. Kobe Bryant, on the other hand, due to implementation of zone principles, he's not only dealing with his guy that he's guarding, but also dealing with the guy that's helping out in the nail, and also the big that's at the baseline. So essentially, once Kobe Bryant beats his guy, he's facing two players versus Jordan's facing one. Now that's his baseball basketball rules and understanding of the errors. I will say this, Travis, though. What made Jordan more efficient was the combination of the fact that he was more an athletic player. Regardless of the era you put them in, Jordan is a bigger, more athletic player, so he's able to get more separation on not only his lift from going to the rim, but also on his jump shots as well. It ain't the other stuff you're talking about.
But
I mean,
sturdy,
agree to
sturdy.
disagree
Even
because
even real quick, even back then in the '90s, we have specific instances when we saw when Jordan had to play against people his height, his body size. He struggled with them. Penny used to give him the business. Grant Hill used to give him fits. Like we can't sit here and act like we don't have instances where Jordan struggled against certain type of players because they were
Yeah,
his height. They could
Jordan
match his
Jordan was
athleticism.
Jordan was susceptible to other quick perimeter player scores. Like this is a fact.
Yeah.
That's why when you watch the film, it shows that. That's when Travis tells me that Jordan's the better defensive player. I looked at the film and I laughed my ass off. But that's just another conversation,
But
different day.
another thing is that Kobe's not inefficient. To be honest with you, Kobe's
He's
actually
not. He's
efficient
not inefficient.
for guard. But this is another thing we got to remember as well. When Kobe entered the NBA, the league was still a big man's league, right? So Kobe's space and stuff like that was a little bit different because of Shaq and everything like that. But again, another thing Kobe didn't get, because see, like when Jordan had the ball and they realized it was a mismatch, they would just clear the whole side out. Jordan would have that one-on-one. In today's NBA, the last 10 years,
Exactly.
right? In the last 10 years, they would do, I don't know if you guys watched LeBron James talk about the basketball on Mind the Game, but he talked about how they would do a lot of switching, and that's how they were able to beat the Clippers, because Tyronn Lue likes to do this thing where he makes the team switch. Like how they made Stephen Curry switch on to Kyrie Irving, and JJ Redick mentioned how LeBron would do the same, where LeBron will call for a screen, knowing they have to switch. Now LeBron gets that one-on-one with JJ Redick. Kobe never had that opportunity because that didn't exist in Kobe's era. They didn't do the type of switching like they do today in Kobe's era. It was still a big man's game. So Kobe had to find his shots a lot more difficult than LeBron did and Michael Jordan did, because he never really had those. He didn't have that space. Jordan had space. LeBron had space. So I think that was the difference. But again, Kobe was never good at getting at the rim as good as Michael and Jordan was. I mean, as good as Michael and LeBron was. I think that's the thing that holds Kobe back.
I
Kobe
also
was
feel
great at
like
getting to the rim.
LeBron.
No, I'm saying not as
I
good
also
as
feel-
them. I said not as good as Mike and LeBron. That's what I'm saying. Getting to the rim as good as those two.
Yeah,
I also feel
Kobe
like
just
when
didn't have the
Oh,
athletic advantage as those guys. That's all.
we
He just wasn't
definitely
as strong or as
had the
explosive.
athletic advantage. Kobe was definitely got to
No, no,
the
I'm
to the
saying, I'm
rim.
saying, no, I'm saying like, in contrast. I'm saying in contrast to Jordan and
I didn't
LeBron.
say he
Like,
didn't have it, Brandon. I said he just wasn't as good as LeBron and Michael at it.
Well,
That's the
he's
only difference.
definitely not as great as LeBron, but if
Yeah.
we're just talking about getting to the rim, if you take Michael Jordan in the '90s compared to what Kobe Bryant did, it's basically the same.
No, my thing is
Michael
no.
Jordan in the '80s is different because
Yeah.
the defense was lacking in the '80s. They couldn't guard Michael Jordan, but as
No,
as
but I'm
Michael
saying
Jordan got to the '90s, he wasn't getting to the rim with ease. Like
no, I
he
know
was in the
that.
'80s.
No, I know that, but that's what I'm saying. Well, with Kobe, right? The fact that Kobe never had a chance to have the kind of space Jordan and LeBron had, his shots were a lot more contested. Because even Kobe shooting 42% from mid range for his career, that's great for a 20-year span to shoot at 42% from mid range. That's actually great with the type of defenses he had to face. So again, Kobe is still a great scorer, but like you said, Brandon, Jordan was just efficient as well. But it's really understanding the game, and that's what we're doing. We're talking the game right now. We're actually talking basketball and how these guys were able to score and be efficient as well, and still be productive. Because we all know they're great scorers, all three of them.
Let me actually pose this right here. Did y'all see the last episode of LeBron and JJ's podcast?
Of course,
I
we're
feel like
LeBron fans.
I feel like he destroyed the entire bag argument because I feel like that it's always been a flawed argument because when they for example they'll get on LeBron because they'll be like, okay, you switched on to Steph Curry, why didn't you sit here and just take him to the rim or run to the or just basically take that shot? And he sat there and he broke it down. He says he said the defense understands Steph Curry's on me, so if he plays to his strong suit and try to get to the rim, everybody's going to collapse on him. Could he sit here and force that shot up? Of course. But he's trying to sit here and get people to realize it's bigger than him just forcing up a shot or forcing his way or taking an unnecessary shot when you have your players around you. He'd rather get his players involved and get them in rhythm so that way they'll be able to be more effective in the game than force a shot. That's another reason why he's a better. That goes to his IQ, and that goes into the understanding of the team concept of basketball. Could he sit here and take every shot and probably still be efficient? Absolutely. But he understands if his teammates aren't in rhythm and his teammates aren't ready to shoot, and they've gotten no run all game, how does that help him? That's the concept of winning that I think we leave out in these conversations. You can't win by yourself. That's why Jordan wasn't successful in the 80s. He was sitting here pulling all these shots, going on a run. Yeah, he averaged 37. Yeah, he averaged 36. Good for him. How far did he get in the playoffs? You see what I'm saying?
When a team played defense on him, when a team stepped up, like Political Rex said here, Jordan struggled at times against 6'8" Alex English. He also struggled against, I think, what was it, Len Bias or the other guy?
Reggie Lewis, I think he said.
Reggie Lewis as well. And Sniper Nation 357 has been in the comments all day. He actually said the best comment of the day for him. He said, "You can tell a wise man surrounded by fools. Travis is quiet." So, Travis, you are doing your job as an MJ delegate. You got the LeBron haters feeling very great about you, saying that we're fools, although he was up here talking about Michael Jordan sneakers are better to be worn in public. But what are better sneakers to be wearing while you're playing basketball? LeBron's, Kobe's, or Michael Jordan's? If we let Politicus Rex tell us, Koozies, the PF Flyers are better basketball shoes than Jordan shoes.
The better basketball shoe is actually Kobe Bryant. LeBron is more of a. I always say LeBron is more of a big man shoe. Jordan's shoe is very stiff to play in. When I was on the basketball team, we tried out Jordan. It was the worst shoe to play in. We actually got to practice in the shoe. We went with Adidas instead of Nike, but. Jordan shoe was terrible to play in, and then even once they got loose, they got too loose. So,
well, Jordan shoes are not really made to play basketball. They had to basically custom make his shoes so he could play in them. So,
just so you remember,
but why would you make them? but the question is, why would you make Jordan shoes durable and basketball worthy when people are gonna spend $300 on them anyways? You got to make them out of cheap material. People gonna spend the money anyways. Why would you make any expensive shoe or any lavish shoe for anybody who's just gonna wear them anyways? They only, like they said, they can only wear them in public. They're not hoopers. They don't wear Jordans and they don't play basketball. They're just a bunch of idiots on YouTube, and they're not subscribed to the channel, which is what they should do. Just hit the subscribe channel, because you see Brandon and I, we give y'all shit that y'all want to hear. Y'all want to hear how much Jordan isn't great. We keep telling y'all this. Politicus Rex, I don't know what we said that you didn't say.
About Bob Cousy PF training shoes.
He did say something about the PF. He did say them. He said I would rather have the Cousy PF. I saw it in the comments. I was going to say something earlier, but if I misspoke, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to speak your words. You can speak for yourself. But thanks again for joining us. You guys are hitting the comments up. We see all of you guys here. We see Willie. The Jordan fans are taking an abuse in the comments, man. Y'all have really been hurting this last month. 2024 is not good for y'all, man. 2024 is a bad year for Jordan fans, man.
We done with the 90s has really hurt Jordan fans. Because people are actually going back, really looking at the games. I mean, people are actually going to look at the film. Like H30 said, go look at the film and tell me how you really think. And that's what's starting to come back.
Listen, they don't get it. Listen, it's Jordan's left hand. Now it's P. Diddy. A lot of shit gonna fall in the 90s. A lot of shit's gonna fall in the 90s.
The 90s era is trying to show itself.
If we let Sturdy tell it, John Stockton as well. Everything falls in the 90s. So are we convinced now that LeBron is the greatest offensive player of all time? Have we convinced?
No.
Travis, why
He's a better offensive player than Jordan.
Yeah, LeBron James clearly the greatest offensive player of all time. It's not even a question. I don't even know what's the debate about it.
I just say it just depends. Like I said, it depends on what you value and how you want to build your offense around it. Some people value.
What do you value then?
Yeah, I want to hear, because I wasn't here to hear Sturdy take.
Yeah, because Sturdy, they said that you are an articulate capper in the comments. So go ahead and articulate your capping.
Yeah. But that's the thing. When you give certain, like, a lot of people don't understand algebra, don't mean it's not factual. You know what I'm saying? But like, I get it. But in regards to, in terms of like my preference, I prefer a dominant scoring playmaking big. That's just my preference, because in my opinion, there's no efficient shot in any era than the paint shot, and also you don't draw no more fouls than opposed attacking the paint. So having a dominant scoring big who's able to play make, you're able to get more grab, you're able to get more attention from the defense and get more open shots. The shot archetype throughout NBA history, even today, is either the drive or the post up shot. So if you're able to dominate that area of the floor, you're gonna have more respect for you're gonna have more attention for the defense, and the defense gonna shift towards you. That's why my preference is the scoring playmaking big, than opposed to the one from guard. That is my preference.
So how is it not LeBron James 30?
Yeah.
No,
I just don't know who is the greatest offensive player of all time.
That's why I say it depends on what you value. So at this point, you can say Braun, you can say Magic. Honestly, Joker is putting himself in that conversation, because in my opinion, all three of those guys control the pace of the game. They are elite playmakers, and they've proven to score when they need to keep it simplistic.
Okay, if
to me,
you're making a case for one player, make a case for one player.
Technically, LeBron would be. Yeah, I mean, he played a big in Miami, and he was also an elite playmaker and also a scorer when he needed to be. So, he played power forward. He played power forward, man. I mean, he played 50% of the season. That one season at center at the Lakers. So yeah, I get it. But it's like I said, right now, if I say all time right now, I would say LeBron. But when it's all said and done, it's probably going to end up being Joker.
Well, it could be. Yeah, it could be when all said and done. But I guess we got to see how his career plays out.
I mean,
and also had an added bonus. I don't care what anybody says. For him to be able to have that level of impact under 4 different head coaches, 3 different locations, and under 4 different offensive systems, because basketball isn't just a one-on-one roll it out type of game. Yes, teams run sets and actions, The fact that he's able to perform at those levels is the reason why I give LeBron the edge over Magic all time, because that level of flexibility is unquantifiable. Simple.
Yeah, I'll always, a lot of people disagree, a giant disagree. I always said it was tougher for what LeBron did when he won, titles with three different teams compared to Jordan on one team. I'm in the minority on that. So my thing is, if you're
I
playing,
never said that, Brandon.
yes, you did. Yes, you did.
When I
said
said
it.
that.
Whenever we were talking about the greatest accomplishments, I said LeBron James 3 Finals MVPs on 3 different teams was tougher than what Jordan 6 titles.
Absolutely.
So my thing is, if you're taking your group of guys, which is the best group of guys, and you beating someone 6 times in a row, that's harder than you taking someone, you put them on a team that's not great, and he builds his team up and you win. You put him on a different team that's not great. Like each team LeBron went to, they were not that great of a team. I know the Heat were a little bit better. They were making the first round at least. They made the first playoffs, I think, 2 out of the last 4 times, but they lost in the first round the last 4 years before you got there. The Cavs 4 years in a row were a lottery team. The Lakers 4 years in a row was a lottery team. Even though LeBron built his team up because people wants to play with LeBron James, I still think that's harder as a player to actually do what LeBron James did.
Brandon, a lot more people agree with you than you think, because I agree with you that I think LeBron's path was harder with all these different head coaches, and that's inconsistency right there, because you're dealing with other people's plan. Now, how we going to approach the game? With Jordan, he knew in training camp what they was going to come with. We was going to play the triangle offense, and this is how we was going to play defense. He knew consistently since Phil got there what they was going to do. When he came back, he knew the offense, he knew the defense. So trust me, Brandon, I think a lot more people's on that side of your argument than you think.
I was on that side. I think he's talking about the greatest accomplishment, because I think I remember what you're talking about. That's when we were comparing accomplishments.
Yeah, because I'll basically let's go.
You said 6 Finals MVP versus making 3 on 3 different teams, which was a greater accomplishment. And I was saying that the 6 is hard to get. Like, I don't think no one's ever going to really get 6 Finals MVPs ever again.
I believe that's the only Jordan record that's not going.
As far as greatest accomplishment, what's tougher, that's different. Yeah, LeBron James winning on 3 different teams is obviously tougher. We've always praised it that way. That's
just. But hey, Johnny, that's just like in life. It's like when you migrate, when you move, there's always an adjustment period.
Yeah.
Period. It's like there's a reason why the Bulls won all 6 of their titles with the same head coach and the same 2 best players. There's an understanding foundation. Like, I understand no matter what the pieces are, I understand these level of expectations. When you move, there's different adjustment period for the expectations, and you're adjusting yourself constantly. Like, this dude literally won a championship as a small forward, as a point guard, as a power forward. Like, what you completely different systems. Like, what do people want to do?
That is crazy you even say that.
It's not just the system. It's not just the system and the head coach. They put better, like, Horace Grant left, they replaced him with Dennis Rodman. You see what I'm saying? So, yes, he didn't score, but you got the best rebounder in the league to play with the two best wings in the game. Like, come on. Like, let's not pretend, like you said, he has the system, he has the head coach, but anytime a piece left, they got a better piece. So someone's going to leave, and you're going to get Ron Harper. Someone's going to leave, and you're going to get Steve Kerr. Someone's going to leave, and you're going to get B.J. Armstrong. Like, people don't realize, like, I think Steve Kerr shot 50% from 3. Same as Paxton.
But Steve Kerr,
same as B.J. Armstrong.
50.
Yes,
not for
crazy
career,
like
not,
that.
Not for the career.
No, I'm talking about for that
season.
Yeah.
Travis, what context need to be added for when LeBron James, 3 Finals MVPs on 3 different teams?
So, I mean, was it a great accomplishment to, move? I think that a lot of people take that away from him as far as, like, team jumping and whatnot. I don't really care. It's what you do on the court. Was it a great accomplishment to eventually win? Yeah, but you can't. I think the narrative that, like, it's a lot of, like, people overrate Jordan's career as well in some aspects, sure. But with LeBron, I think one of the big overrate is like, oh, he did this on 3 different teams. Sure. But when he went to they act like he just went to the Heat team and that's it, and like then they were rebuilding and blah blah. Sure, but they actually made several key acquisitions before they won that first title in 2012. Like you had a bunch of players coming in that actually sustained that. Like obviously Ray Allen, Shane Batty was there, Bosch was there, Eddie House, all these contributors that actually made them a great team. They had almost an entirely new and different core. Same thing when you went to LA. They traded like Ball, Ingram, and Hart, and like some other role players. Like almost half their young squad or young cores that was being referred to actually get AD because he didn't even sniff the playoffs in 2019 when he actually first got there. Was there injury? Sure, but I mean they were didn't have that same success until AD got there.
Were they in the playoff in 18?
Huh?
Were they in the playoff in 18?
No.
Were they in the playoff in 2017?
But I
He was
mean,
on the Cavs.
When were the Lakers?
talking about the Lakers?
Before,
Lakers.
Yeah, when did the Lakers make the playoffs before LeBron?
It was
I think
2013.
like 2013. I think it was 13.
When did the Cavaliers make the playoffs before LeBron?
1998.
And the second.
I mean, I'm being honest.
Talk about the second stint. The second stint, they missed all 4 times. The Lakers missed
so
6 times in a row.
So what are you talking about, Travis?
I'm talking about
Jordan
No,
Jordan again had players like he had a
sure,
mind you,
but again, it's not. But my point is, it's not just adding LeBron and you're a title contender. There's a lot of rebuilding each and every time.
Yeah. You're right. Teams win, Travis, but that's why I didn't. I wasn't emphasizing on the result of it. I was more so giving you his path of victory for them to get that success. He had to change positions. He had to adjust his play style. He had to add more skill to his game. And so his versatility only gives more credence to the fact that he was able to do it with the second best player being a two-way slashing guard in Wade. Then to do it again with a scoring point guard in Kyrie. Then do it again with a two-way dominant power forward like AD. I'm not saying, of course, teams win championships, teams make the playoffs. But the fact that he had to make that adjustment, given the pieces that we just mentioned, that's more a testament to his portability and versatility.
I mean, I don't think he really changed his game up from 08 to 2011. Like what he
that's what we completely agree to disagree.
Wait a minute. He definitely changed his game up when he went to Miami. I mean, he took less shots. I mean,
the first year, definitely the first year he did.
Off ball. I mean, and then the Lakers championship, he played point guard.
He played point guard. That was impressive. But like I said, AD was arguably the best player on both ends. He was more efficient. He led him in blocks, steals, or blocks, rebounds.
Yeah,
most
for the regular season. But when it came to the
playoffs, for the regular season, yeah.
But the only thing Jordan changed was his trust in his teammates and his coach. That's the only thing Jordan had to do. He didn't have to do nothing else. So he didn't have to change his game in any kind of way. All he had to do was trust his teammates more, right? So listen. The idea that LeBron James had to, go to 3 different teams to win championships. Again, if the NBA was like the 90s, you don't have the Boston Celtics of 2008. LeBron never has to leave Cleveland. He's winning a championship from there. You don't get Paul Gasol in LA. With all these type of moves that helped teams win championships during LeBron's era wouldn't have been there as well. So LeBron would have won championships. So all this idea that LeBron needed to switch teams to win championships is nonsense. He needed to switch teams because Cleveland was not trying to win NBA championships.
Exactly. They wanted
him
to be.
No, hold on. Hey, John, I'm not gonna say that. They tried, but they wasn't competent enough. I give you saying. I know. No, there's a difference. You can try. You're just not good enough. There's a difference. There's a difference between effort and execution.
I don't see how they tried.
No, they did. No, they did get it in terms of hiring Mike Brown, in terms of getting that defense and underrated getting some shooters around LeBron. They did try, John. I get it. They did fumbled up with the Amari Stoudemire. They did fumbled up with the JJ Hickson. I get it.
I'm asking this because you know I'm the exposer. I'm gonna ask you this because I have no one answer this. Why didn't Cleveland have the cap space in 2010 to sign Bosh, Wade, and LeBron?
No, I just told you. I just told you. It's different between trying and executing. They wasn't competent enough. They wasn't smart enough to actually get the job done. See, that's the thing. When Travis, for some reason, it's not an insult to Jordan to give precise accountability towards a top 5 GM like Jerry Krause. It's not an insult to Jordan when we mention the fact that he had a top 5 coach in Phil Jackson and a top 5 assistant coach in X winners. That's more so getting credit because when Jordan orchestrate a BS documentary like The Last Dance, making it mostly around him and not giving credit to the pieces that made that team successful, you get that type of level of reaction. That's why I emphasize in saying it's not some don't pay attention on the result because every team you need a great team to win a championship, but look at what the players are doing to get that result.
Yeah,
I think LeBron James' value to his impact. I think, in my opinion, in my subjective opinion, that LeBron James has the greatest impact as a player to win championships because his versatility is unmatched to be able to play with different strands of skills and as a player. He is definitely the ring giver. And yes, they have to make moves in order to have him play around great role players and great other great stars. Obviously, that's how the name of the game is for the championship. In the 90s, you had 1 or 2 stars, and that was it. You can win a championship from that with other role players. Today is a different game. Today is a different era, but it has its value because when you look at other players, other stars that are surrounded by that. Like you look at Kevin Durant, they have the 3rd highest payroll for the Phoenix Suns, and they're only like in the 7th seed. You look at Kevin Durant with the Brooklyn Nets. You look at Kyrie Irving playing with other stars. You look at all these players that have played with different stars, and they just cannot be able to do the same thing. Even when LeBron James in 2018. To me, he played in at that time, it was, they say it's a weak East, but he played against great competition against Atlanta Hawks. They weren't even the number 1 seed. He still dragged the team to the NBA Finals in 2018 without other stars.
Yeah, I think they was the number 4 seed that year.
Yeah, I think they were number 3, and
goes
the
to
Toronto Raptors was number 1. So it just
they had to be the 4 seed then because they faced Toronto in the 2nd round.
Okay. But that goes to what I was saying about teams trying to win because as Sturdy was saying, for some reason the Cavaliers were competent in 2015, 2016, 17, and 18. They made all the right moves then to help them be a championship contender.
Well, you know why, Johnny? Because LeBron was in position to leverage his contract. Remember, LeBron was doing 2+1s.
No. Because LeBron told Dan Gilbert in that flight, you are going to build a championship roster. You're going to trade Wiggins because you're not going to hold on to Wiggins. The Cavaliers prior to that would have held on to Wiggins and told LeBron that's the difference. That's the difference. The difference
really
is
drafted Anthony Bennett. They really drafted Anthony Bennett number 1.
Exactly. Right. So it had nothing to do with them being more competent. It's just that now Gilbert. There's owners out here who are satisfied making their money. You're gonna fill up the seats with LeBron James as a superstar. The NBA. That's why they promote their stars because those are the guys who fill up the seats. And I'm going to make my money no matter what. So that's what Cleveland was doing with LeBron. That's why they didn't try to make no moves. That's why they didn't care about the 2010 offseason. They didn't care about J.J. Hickson. All they cared about was LeBron was there and he was not supposed to leave. That's why he got mad when LeBron left. He wrote that big mean letter because in his mind, you're not supposed to leave. You're supposed to stay here and deal with this no matter what, while other teams are getting better, while GMs are out here conniving and doing things to keep the Cavaliers from winning. When you know Danny Ainge said he was going to draft LeBron as a junior in high school, the number 1 pick overall, he would have did it. Why do you think he went and got Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen? He saw 2007. He saw what was the writing on the wall. He knew what was about to happen.
That was the reaction to that year. That was the reaction.
And why do you think the Lakers went and got Paul Gasol that same year too? Because they said, well, damn, if Boston's doing this, our rival, we got to do something. And Jerry West said, I give you a gift. That's why it should be investigated for y'all asking in the comments. Yeah. Jerry West was a part of the Memphis Grizzlies executive camp.
A lot of people don't recognize that.
But no, it was the same thing in Minnesota because Kevin McHale was the GM in Minnesota. That's how they were able to send him to Boston.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like people don't like, hey, Johnny, you are 100% correct. They wanted LeBron James to be Kevin Garnett with the Timberwolves. Be content getting to the playoffs, filling up the stadium, making the money for the team and the owner.
Damian Lillard.
Damian Lillard. Another one. Get in Cleveland, have the exciting series, make it look all good, but you know they're not going to get over the hump. Like you said, in 2007, though, LeBron he had a tectonic shift, and those teams had to load up to beat just him in Cleveland with no other superstar. Like, people don't realize.
And it was happening in 2010. Imagine LeBron sitting there knowing Bosh and Wade are going to go to Miami. Knowing all these other teams are racking up players and getting players added to their team. Shaq went over there to Boston. Rasheed Wallace and all these other guys are all going to all these other teams. No one is coming to Cleveland. Amari Stoudemire going to New York. Carmelo goes to New York the year before that. All this other stuff. Is LeBron supposed to stay in Cleveland? He's
Hell
supposed
no.
And mind you, he doesn't have the MJ card to where he can quit the game of basketball because he's tired and exhausted and needs a break and come back and maybe try it again. So he has to figure out something.
That's wild, man.
Yeah,
he basically got a paid vacation and got to play another sport. That's it. That's crazy.
All I know is my guy won a championship for every professional team he played for, while the other guy didn't. That's facts.
Right.
That's crazy. Like, imagine LeBron quitting and going to go play tennis while still getting paid from his contract. Man, people will go nuts.
Know, a lot of people don't. And you know what's crazy? Because a lot of people don't know that Jordan was still getting paid by the Bulls when he retired. A lot of people do not know that.
Because he wasn't retired. Technically he was suspended. He wasn't.
Right.
Yeah. All that's true, Johnny, but it's like you also got to say, was Cleveland Cleveland the best destination for again attractive free agents? Again, like the bet, think people wanted to go there to win. No, but you also got to. I think that a lot of hate that Cleveland gets, and especially those teams, because those teams were great. Like from 2007 to 2010, they had anywhere between a top 10 to top 5 defense. Especially compared to league average there. Like in 2010, they had the 6th best defense, those Celtics that year.
Yeah, and 3-point shooting.
And also his supporting cast that year was just as good, especially if you look at points per game. Now, also Cleveland had the best record in the league in 09 and 10. The reason they lost to the Celtics was because, again, they got clamped in games 4, 5, and 6. LeBron actually shot 33% again. From the field in those games and melted down.
Stop it, Travis. You've been shooting some shots. What did Rondo do in Boston 2010?
Hey, just go by the numbers. The numbers, okay.
Tell me Rondo's numbers in 2010 versus the Cleveland Cavaliers during that playoffs.
Did he average a triple-double?
He damn near did. He was killing them because they had Mo Williams on him. LeBron can't stop. LeBron can't guard Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen and Rondo.
Right.
So, what does it have to do with him? What does it have to do with
it doesn't matter what LeBron does when the other team is just a better team. You're talking about LeBron James being able to make those mediocre players still be good, but when the playoffs show up, all of their weaknesses are going to be exposed. And that's what you saw every playoff with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
So LeBron
because you can run throughout the season when a team is not really game planning. Y'all see, that's why y'all don't watch basketball. Teams have scouting reports, right? They watch film. But if I played Minnesota tonight and then 2 nights from now I'm playing San Antonio, how much game planning do I have? And then if there's another game, there's not really much game planning throughout the season. You work on certain things, you work on certain sets, you get yourself ready, you build chemistry, you do a lot of things. But when you get to the playoffs, all that changes. I know who I'm facing for the next 4 games. And
John,
that's why the playoffs are
absolutely.
Go ahead.
But T-Perfect, okay, T-Perfect, because this is relevant what you're saying, right? So it's not just Jordan shot 17% from field goal percentage again in Game 3 against the Knicks in '93, but the Bulls still end up winning. He shot 26% in the finals against Seattle, Game 6. They still end up winning. She shot 30% from field goal percentage again in Game 4 in '96 against the Knicks. The Bulls end up winning not only that series, but end up winning those games. So we can understand, Travis. There's never one reason why a team loses a game or a series.
Sure.
There's never just one reason. There's multiple reasons. So I explained to you, even with Jordan shooting horrendously from the field and acting from the field, his team was still able to win because they had a better team. That's why I'm not. That's why we kind of cut you off when you was trying to allude why the Cavaliers, even though they were a good team, they weren't a better team than a Boston Celtics, and that's how that works, Travis.
All right, so let's do this, Travis, because this is why I tell you guys stats matter and talking the game matters. Look, the Cavaliers go up 2-1 in the Eastern Conference series against Boston 2010. And in the game 4, Rajon Rondo goes off for 29 points, 18 rebounds, and 13 assists, playing 47 minutes in the game. LeBron James himself goes off for 22 points. He has 8 assists and 9 rebounds that game. Now, he did shoot 39% from the field. He shot 7 of 18. Like that, and he was 0 for 5 from the three-point land. But nobody else on his team could step up and stop Rondo. The same guy, Mo Williams, that you guys want to talk about, gave him 9 points. He shot 33%. The Cavaliers as a team shot 40% in total. So it's not just LeBron James. There are no other scorers on this team. They're only good because LeBron makes them a part of the offense. When Jordan was jacking up shots in 88, 89, and 90 and losing series, you guys don't mention that. You don't mention games 3, 4, and 5 in 1988, and games 4, 5, and 6 in 1989. When Jordan was jacking up shots and missing and coughing up his team's games. And teams getting blown out in a game 7 because Jordan didn't know how to make his teammates better. How is LeBron supposed to beat this team when Rondo's putting up a triple-double of 29, 18, and 13? That's their 4th best player.
Yeah, and that's one guy. He was the best player. So you're looking at this. Okay, yeah, LeBron shot 39% from the field. Okay, and games 1, 2, and 3. You talk about scouting reports. They knew about that team since 2008, and they knew about them vice versa. It wasn't like there was some new team coming in. They play each other 4 times a year. Was there a scouting report? Absolutely. LeBron's entire starting lineup had double figures almost an entire series on better shooting splits. You look at old Shaq, 17 points that same game. 13 for Mo Williams, Anton Jameson, Anthony Parker. On way less shots, LeBron, again, took the most shots, shot the worst. He melted down games 4, 5, and 6. You're telling me that if he would perform better, like he did in games 1, 2, and 3, where he was averaging 27, 8, and 9 on almost 50% shooting, they would have won, or they wouldn't have won?
Shaq doesn't even play the 4th quarter in game 4. Shaq plays 27 minutes that game. Because Shaq can't give you 35 minutes. That's not the Shaq. So Shaq gave you 17 minutes, right? And guess what? They get blown out in the 4th quarter. That's where they lose the game. That's when they lose the game at, because LeBron James is on the floor with Anthony Parker. Who is Anthony Parker? Can you tell me who that is?
Candace Parker.
He was the guy out shooting LeBron for that series.
Mo Williams, Antoine Jameson, and Anderson Varejao. That's who he's on the court with in the 4th quarter to win a game.
These are the names that also gave you double figures and helped you to the best record in the league 2 years in a row.
Because Travis. Let's put on thinking caps. Everyone knows there's a difference between regular season play and playoffs. Playoffs, there is no back-to-backs. Playoffs, there is no scheduling favor. It's literally you're playing one team for essentially a week who are strictly game planning to stop not only you as an individual, because you keep focusing on individual,
that's a good point,
but your team.
Exactly.
That's why I keep giving you concepts like when Jordan shoots 38.7% field goal percentage against Miami, but the Bulls still end up winning the series in 5 games. That means teams winning the series. There's never. I don't care what play, I don't care what era, I don't care in a team sport, like especially in the NBA. There's never a singular reason why a team loses or wins. So when you ask the question, in this hypothetical world, if LeBron shot maybe a little more accurate from the field, I would come up to the notion is they would still lose because at the end of the day, teams win series. Teams, especially in the playoffs. No, what you're missing. You have a better record. You can have a better record than a team. Don't mean you're a better team in the playoffs. The Bulls didn't always have the best record in the league, Travis, when they won the 6 championships. They did it, but it was always the best team in the playoffs.
Okay.
But Sturdy,
So
you can even reverse this.
Hold on,
You can even hold on real quick, Travis. Hold on real quick. You can
I
even
want to go.
reverse this logic. You remember in the '80s, Jordan was putting up monster numbers in the playoffs. Wasn't he getting swept in the first round?
But not only that, not only that. Let's bring up 1988 because this is why I love it, because they love to bring up LeBron's issues when he's facing dominant teams and teams that are focusing on him only, and he doesn't have help. Boston was a dominant team.
Doesn't have help. He has help.
No, let's talk about Jordan's help. That's what you said, because you said Anthony Parker was help, right? Because Anthony Parker shot 50% for that series, averaging 8 points per game, right? But Michael Jordan plays in a series, right? Wait. Michael Jordan goes into a series against Detroit, and he has a player who shoots 60% from the field, averaging 11.5 points per game, and he loses 4-1. 3 straight in a row, because Jordan himself goes from averaging 35 points per game to only averaging 27 points per game. He goes from shooting 54% from the field to only 49% from the field. His team struggles because of him. He doesn't take the right shots. Everybody else on his team played better, but Michael Jordan, and they got beat 4-1 versus a team with no all NBA players, no all defensive players on the roster.
Yeah, that's not the drop off you're making it seem though, because you're looking at the same.
That is a drop off, Travis. That is a big drop off, Travis.
5% as opposed to like 14 or 15%?
It's not 5%. 35 to 27 is like 25% or 20% drop off. In fact, he had to score 45 points per game the series before for his team to win that series. So he went from scoring 45 to 27. LeBron averaged 26, 9, 7, 2, and 1 in the series you said he choked in against Boston.
Yeah, he did choke the last 3 games.
And Jordan did too. Jordan's last 3 games.
So Jordan choking's numbers looked way better than LeBron. So you're talking about 54% to 49%, right?
No,
okay.
Jordan went into game 3, shot 8 of 20, which is 40%, had only 24 points in that game, had 5 turnovers and 3 assists. His team got blown out 101 to 79 on his home floor. His first game at home versus Detroit after scoring 36 and I think it was 29 of the games before that. Then he goes back into game 4, and you would say, oh, well, Michael Jordan's going to step up his game now. They need to get this win, right? No, he doesn't do that. He gives you 23 points per game off 22 shots.
Okay. And Jordan still shot 49% for that series.
And LeBron shot 47 for that series, 46.
Okay. Now,
this is the 2008 season, 45. Right?
Yeah, again, no, this is we're talking about the 2010 season versus 1988.
Yeah, 2008 was worse.
So Jordan gives you back-to-back games where he doesn't give you his 30 points per game, when he was averaging 35, where he was shooting well above 50%, and now he's shooting less than 50%. Then he goes into game 5 and gives you 25 points on 22 shots, shooting 45%. Where was this Jordan helping his team win? He should have gave the ball to Charles Oakley. Charles Oakley was shooting 64%, had 19 points and 15 rebounds. Why was he losing this game? Getting blown out again. Lost 3 straight games in the playoffs.
Okay, but Jordan was still clearly the more efficient, or the most efficient player on his team. Look at this. The only player who outshot him was Horace Grant that series at 60%. Otherwise, he's better even when he's
so he wasn't more efficient. So that means he wasn't more efficient, right?
Okay. So LeBron...
He was more efficient than LeBron. Yes, he was more efficient because he shot 49% for the series, right? What did Jordan shoot for that series? 47%, I'm sorry. Let me make sure. Let me double check this.
Does it have to always be someone choking? Can it be?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's never common. No, it's never common sense. No, it's never common sense. It's never when we go into playoffs against a great defensive team. They're going to make it hard for the player. That's every that is literally every single great score in NBA history. Look at the numbers. Look at the games. When they go against great defensive teams of their time, their numbers and accuracy always regress. That's what great defensive teams do.
Sturdy. If we go to LeBron James, that playoff run, right, in 2010, right? But right before he faces the Boston Celtics, he plays against the Chicago, and he averages 31 points per game, right? And he's 9 and 8, right? That was and he was shooting 56% from the field. Jordan in the same playoff run is the same as why I say Jordan choked as well. Because if they're gonna say LeBron choked, then so did Jordan. In that same playoff run in 1988 against the Cleveland Cavaliers, Michael Jordan averaged 45 points per game, shooting 56% from the field, averaging 5 rebounds and 4.5 assists per game. Right? Then he goes into the next series giving you 27 points per game. So who had the bigger choke? Who dropped up more? Who didn't represent their team more? LeBron went from 31 points to 27 points per game. Jordan went from 45 to 27 points per game. Jordan went from 56% shooting to 49% shooting. LeBron went from 55% shooting to 45% shooting.
LeBron.
Who choked?
Clearly, in every metric his name is
LeBron won more games in that series. Jordan didn't win, only won one game. LeBron at least won 2.
Okay, so 2008 again, same team. LeBron 35% again gets destroyed. 35% shooting again, and still is taking by far the most points on his team. Now, at what point? Here's the question: at what point do we say, like, we're just talking about names? Oh my God, 4 Hall of Famers on one team. Great, that's true.
No, Travis. What I said specifically is the team, especially relative to that time.
But if we go to 1989, when Jordan did the same thing, listen, let's list off Jordan's series playoff.
Let me ask you a question, Sturdy.
No, hold on, Travis. Go ahead, ask the question. Go ahead.
Okay, so Sturdy, at what point do we ignore names and just go by production?
No, once again, Travis, I didn't mention a single name. I didn't say the Boston Celtics team was this, that, and third because of names. I'm mentioning what that team did. I'm responding to you. But I'm responding to you by, it's just common sense. You're not the same regular season team or you're on the playoffs. Those are 2 different types of style of basketball. In the playoffs, there's more game plan. In the playoffs, there's more physical play. In the playoffs, it's not indicative. So hold on. Once again, Travis, that's why I bring up common sense points that you completely ignore. Like, just because your team has a better record than another team, you're not expected to beat that team in the playoffs. Period. That's why when I say a fact, the Bulls did not always have the best record in the league when they won those 6 championships, and yet they still end up winning because they were the best playoff team. So when I repeat the fact, it's not choking when a all-time great scorer regress in his accuracy or his production when he goes up against the great defensive team of that time. That's actually common sense to understand, especially go out through NBA history. It happens to literally every all-time great scorer. At some point when you go against a great defensive team, they're gonna make shit harder for you because you are the best player on the opposing team. Lastly, Travis, I said this before the beginning. You still haven't responded to it. Teams win in the playoffs. That's why I gave you an example of Michael Jordan and the Bulls beating the Miami Heat in 5 games despite him shooting less than 40% from the field. Because despite Jordan's lack of efficiency, despite Jordan's lack of accuracy, that at the end of the day, in the 7-game series, the better team always wins. So it's never one player that's solely responsible for a team losing or winning. I don't care who it is. That's just common sense.
No, but this is all. I'm gonna just to prove we're gonna end it here
That
because we have
doesn't
to
make
get up
any
out of
sense.
here. No, it does make sense because again, you guys want to give LeBron the fault for losing against a team that is tough, but then when I bring up Michael Jordan, you're gonna bring up his team because when we go to Michael Jordan, he averages 44 points per game in the series versus Boston in 86. Then he averages 36 and 87 versus Boston. Then again, in the next year, he averages 45 points. Then he goes down to 27. You're going to tell me that's not choking? How he goes from averaging 35 plus against other teams, but then he goes up against Detroit, he averages less than 30. That's a big drop. LeBron is not dropping that bad. LeBron went from averaging 29 to averaging 26. That's not a big drop. Then when you go to the next year, Jordan averaged 40 points per game. He averaged 39.8 against Cleveland. Then he averaged 36 against New York. Then he goes against Detroit. He averages less than 30 again, shooting less than 50%. Then in the next playoff series, the next year against Milwaukee, 37 points per game. Philadelphia, 43 points per game. Then he goes up against Detroit and loses in that series, averaging 32 points per game. Every time Michael Jordan went up against the same team, you're going to say that's not choking, but Jordan is averaging 37, 40 points per game, Travis. He's averaging 40. and going up against a team and averaging 10 points less when he goes up against them. That is choking.
And he's still fantastic that series.
And it doesn't matter. And so was LeBron against Boston. And so was LeBron. Yes, he was. He still was great. You can't say
he was great.
Yes, he was great in 2008. Travis,
no, this is a side effect of you being a Jordan fan.
Travis. In 2008, LeBron James averaged 27 points, 6.5 rebounds, 7.5 assists versus Boston. That's good. That's fantastic. That's good.
In the playoffs?
Yes. He averaged 26.7, 6.4 rebounds, 7.6 assists per game. And he averaged 2 steals and a block per game in that playoff series.
Michael was flying like an eagle. That's why.
Are you saying
but he's going to say it's bad. He's going to say it's bad because he shot 35% from the field versus a defensive player of the year, a team that had an all-defensive player. When, like I said, when Jordan is shooting bad as well, because Jordan shooting 47% compared to shooting 55 is bad. The same way LeBron going from 45 to 35 is bad. Jordan is not shooting well. His team does not win if he's shooting 47%, the same way LeBron's not winning if his team shoots 35%. That's choking. It's the same shit.
Okay, no, it's not the same shit.
So, and Jordan's not facing the same defense. He's not facing the same team, the same scheme, none of that. The 1988 Detroit Pistons had no all-defensive players on their roster. The Chicago Bulls had a better defense than the Detroit Pistons in 1988. Jordan is the reason why they lost because he choked. He averaged less than 30. He shot less than 50%, which is not what Jordan normally does, which means he choked.
I just want the record to show that me and John are saying two different things. That's all I'm saying.
No, I'm saying if they want to say LeBron choked, so did Jordan. I don't say LeBron choked because we all know it's a team concept. That's why we don't mind LeBron James having his teammates. Jordan have a problem. Jordan fans have a problem with Jordan having teammates. We can't praise Pippen. We can't praise Rodman. We can't praise Kukoc. We can't praise nobody because they think Michael Jordan went out there and played 1-on-5 and won every time that way. And that's a lie. Because we saw Jordan choke throughout the 80s and he couldn't do it against the same team over and over again. LeBron never failed against the same team over and over again. He never did that. He beat Boston.
He literally did.
He beat Boston eventually more than once.
He stuck his tongue out.
He beat Boston in 2012.
He beat him in 2011 when they had 4 All-Stars. So Jordan never beat a team with 4 All-Stars. Boston in 2011 had 4 All-Stars.
Okay.
And he beat
Jordan
them.
never beat Boston. Jordan never beat Boston.
So if I was to say, okay, well, okay, let's just say we have 2 box scores, right? And we're talking about the same exact box score, all right? Okay, so LeBron, again, I'm sorry, take the names away, and we see one player, right, who's shooting horribly from the field. All of his other teammates and all the other starters are out shooting him, okay, on multiple series, right? And that's not what you're going to see with Michael Jordan. Did his stats dip slightly? Sure, but he's still unquestionably, again, either the most efficient player or the best player in his team. Not the case with LeBron on several of these players or these series that we're talking about. It's not like his efficiency was dipping 4 or 5% like it was with Michael Jordan. You're talking about 10, 14, 50% drops. Again, with this, and his team are outperforming him regularly. It's not
why
like
you keep
like
bringing up his team. Every series you brought up, LeBron James' team shot 40%. The team shot 40% against Boston in 2008. They shot 40% against Boston in 2010. Every time you bring up LeBron's teammates, I'm looking at horrible shooting. We're looking at Big Z, 43%, horrible. Delonte West, 42%, horrible. What's it called? Wally Zerbiak, 35%, horrible. Daniel Gibson, 39%, horrible. Sasha Pavlovich, 40%, horrible. The team shot 40%.
Joseph,
yeah, 52%. That's the only one. And if we go to Jordan, Jordan's
all
team,
better than LeBron.
No. And we go to Jordan's team in 1988 versus Detroit. Was Jordan's team shooting that bad? Did Jordan's team shoot 40% from the field?
Nobody else shot Jordan except for Horace Grant.
Jordan's team shot 44% from the field. Jordan had players like
Three
Scottie Pippen
shots.
shooting 46% from the field. Horace Grant was shooting 60% from the field.
Okay.
Why wasn't they getting more shots? Why was Jordan taking 25 shots per game or 24 shots a game? LeBron wasn't taking 24 shots per game.
Yeah,
Your
because he
man-
wasn't. Yeah,
your man
because he
took
wasn't the most efficient
108
player on the court. Jordan still
When
was.
did Verjao shoot 50%? Where do you see that at? For what
He
series?
shot-
Pull the box
in that
score.
series. In the series, he shot 50%, shooting, taking 28 shots in a 7-game series. So taking 4 shots per game. He took 4 shots per game, shot 50%.
The difference
Wait.
is even if Jordan had a subpar series, he's still the best
What was-
player in his team. LeBron
No,
arguably so.
LeBron's taking less shots per game than Michael Jordan. All right.
Is this
He's
2010?
So you
And he's
think
averaging
No.
he's averaging only 2 less points than Michael Jordan while shooting, like you said, he's shooting worse than Jordan. And he averaged 27, Jordan averaged 29.
so? You don't
Or
think
20
LeBron was the best?
no,
player?
Jordan averaged 27. Jordan averaged the same amount of points as him, shooting 49%.
Travis, is this 2010 for Anderson Varejao against Boston Celtics?
No, 2008.
No,
2008.
Okay.
2008.
All right. I was like,
2008.
what?
But the Bulls didn't shoot 40% as a team. The Bulls shot 43% as a team. And
Okay.
you're gonna say that was because of Michael, correct? Because Michael was doing that, right? Is that what you're gonna say?
Am I going to say that? He was the second most efficient player in his team. LeBron wasn't even top 8 here. That's what I'm saying. It's like you can see a clear discrepancy as far as obviously it was in different eras, different circumstances. Absolutely. Am I saying that a lot of those teams that Mike faced were as good defensively as the Celtics? No. But it's all about, you can't just say that one team going against another is expected to lose simply because of the mystique or the players. Is it different in the playoffs? I agree with Sturdy, absolutely. But when your team is putting up great defensive numbers, again, above average offensive numbers the entire season, I don't care what the names are. What's going to happen? Look at the box score. What's the minutia?
But that applies to 88. Jordan's
It
team had
does.
the
I
best
agree.
defense.
Was Jordan playing as
all right, so
good
we'll
as
end it
he-
here. So we're going to end it here. You say LeBron choked 2008 and 2010. Are you also saying Jordan choked 88 and 89? Are you on mute?
You had to mute yourself for a second.
There's
Okay, you got it for me.
there's some bullshit on my.
Oh, look at you. That watch out, Pornhub.
It's Jordan Hub.
Listen, we gonna end it here. That means we gotta end it. Travis is getting phone calls. He got his lady calling him. We're gonna get up out of here. Listen, y'all gotta stop this LeBron choking shit. But we know LeBron is just the greatest player ever. Travis has done his best. Hopefully we can get Craig and another MJ delegate to help you out because they're in the comments giving you props, Travis. But you know
Yes,
we are go.
I'm tanking like 7 people every week. Like, come help me out. Like,
You was on Michael Jordan fans of the best page the other day.
dude,
What's up
did you
with
see
that?
that? I was exposing Dark for like a straight hour in your honor, man. Like,
Oh my God! You said Jordan Hub, the Jordan Hub. There you go, Jordan Hub.
got it.
Anyways, listen, y'all. It's been a great show. I want to thank the panelists again. Thanks for Sturdy showing up. Thanks for Ishmael, Twin Man, King John. Thank you guys again in the comments. Shout out to everybody that's following us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, also Discord. You guys know what we do here. We are the GOAT James Kingdom channel. This is the GOAT James Kingdom show with B. Lee and A. Johnny. We're going to end our Sunday by letting you guys know that LeBron's the greatest offensive player. He's the greatest defensive perimeter player. And he's the greatest player of all time. We've proven all of this within a week. Okay?
Disagree with the second part.
This is what we do in GOAT James Kingdom. We talk basketball. We talk about the greatness of basketball. We're tired of y'all lies. We're tired of your myths. We're tired of the 1900s. We done with the 90s. We done with the 80s. We done with all that bullshit. So next week we'll have another great show, another great topic. Thanks, gentlemen. You guys not going to get your last word in today. It's over with. We are out of here. You guys enjoy your Sunday. Peace and blessings. This is GOAT James Kingdom. See y'all next week.
Everybody be safe out there.
Peace out.